Chapter 770. It looks like it's over one desolate forbidden land, Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Luolan and the white beast entered Xiao Changshan's courtyard and saw him untying his apron. The table in front of him was already filled with all kinds of dishes. Seeing the steaming dishes on the table, waving hands and Lorraine swallowed their saliva. Don't just stand there. Come and eat. Xiao Changtian took out 2 tables from the room and placed them beside them. Then the white beast and Lorraine sat down. On the table were all kinds of demon beasts that Xiao Changtian had killed in the desolate forbidden land. Their cultivation base when they were alive was at the level of a holy sovereign, so they could eat such food. It was a great help to their cultivation. Sitting down at the dining table, Xiao Changtian slowly said to them, "This is just cooked. Hurry up and eat it." While talking, Xiao Changtian also picked up the rice on the table and started eating. At this moment, the white beast and Lorraine also picked up their chopsticks. The white beast and Lorraine were stunned when they saw them. These were all top-grade immortal weapons. Senior actually used a supreme-grade immortal artifact for his food. It must be known that supreme-grade immortal artifacts are rare even in their beast imperial peak. However, in Senior's case, they became the chopsticks for daily meals. Holding the supreme-grade immortal weapon in their hands, Lorraine and the white beast ate carefully. "You two don't have to be so formal. I have something for you after you eat." Xiao Changtian stood up and walked into his room. The white beast and Lorraine were diligent in their work, but they were a little shy. How could they eat while he was sitting there? When the white beast and Lorraine saw Xiao Changtian leave, they immediately picked up the dishes on the table and started eating. When Xiao Changtian was here, they felt embarrassed. After Xiao Changtian left, how could they care about their image? After eating this thing, he did not know how many years of cultivation he would save. After a while, the white beast and Lorraine finished all the delicacies on the table. At this moment, Xiao Changtian also carried Pixiu out of the room. If he left this little fellow in his room, he reckoned that all his income for the past few days would be left in his stomach. At this moment, the white beast naturally noticed the Pixiu in Xiao Changshan's arms. "Junior sister, what is the divine beast in Senior's bosom? It seems to be the Pixiu that Master mentioned." Lorraine also noticed the Pixiu in Xiao Changshan's arms and said to the white beast, "Xixiang is really a Pixiu. I didn't expect to see such a divine beast in my lifetime." Seeing Pixiu's cute appearance, Lorraine was also excited. Besides Xiao Changtian, little Kylan also walked out slowly. Seeing the Pixiu in Xiao Changshan's arms, he seemed to be a little dissatisfied with fighting for his favor. He also jumped a few times into Xiao Changshan's arms. Xiao Changtian saw the little Kylan and teased him. Then, he placed him and Pixiu on the ground and said slowly to them, "All right, all of you behave yourselves and go play by yourselves. Especially you, don't come to my room to steal gold coins." Xiao Changtian pointed at Pixiu as he spoke. Being pointed at by Xiao Changtian, Pixiu grinned at him. Then he skipped a few times to the back of the courtyard and transmitted a message to the little Kylan at the same time. "Little Qilin, Big Brother Black Tortoise, and the others are behind. Let's go find them." When the little Kylan heard Pixiu's words, it shook its little head and hurriedly followed him. They were all cubs. They could naturally learn many things from Black Tortoise and White Tiger. After sending the Pixiu and Qilin away, Xiao Changtian also came to the dining table. Seeing the empty plates on the table, Xiao Changtian smiled at Lorraine and the white beast. It seemed that his judgment just now was right. The two of them were still too shy. They were too embarrassed to eat too much with him here. Xiao Changtian also noticed that they were staring at the direction where Qilin and Pixiu had left. "That's Pixiu. I just tamed him a few days ago. If you like him, you can go over and play with him. However, that little guy is a money grubber. If you go over, you have to be careful of the gold coins on you." Xiao Changshan's words echoed in the ears of the white beast and Lorraine. After all, if he wanted them to help him raise immortal beasts in the future, it was good to let them interact with him first. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lorraine also said to him slowly, "Senior, can we?" Hearing Luo Lan's incredulous voice, Xiao Changtian nodded at her. "Of course, why not?" As Xiao Changtian finished speaking, Lorraine also said to the white beast beside her, Senior brother, let's go and take a look at the Paishio. Humans were naturally fond of cute animals, and even immortal cultivators were no exception. Lorraine brought the white beast to the back of the courtyard. At this moment, the white beast and Lorraine swallowed a few mouthfuls of saliva when they saw the scene in the backyard. Paishio and Qilin stood obediently in front of Black Tortoise and White Tiger. He was like an obedient student, listening attentively to his teacher's explanation. The White Tiger, who was teaching Paishio and Qilin, glared at the white beast and Lorraine. Then the white beast and Lorraine felt a pressure on them. Both of them sat on the ground. Senior White Tiger, we didn't mean to see you impart spirit skills. At this moment, the white beast suppressed the fear in its heart and said to the White Tiger. This was the first time Lorraine felt such pressure. She hurriedly nodded at the White Tiger. At this time, Xiao Changtian also came to the backyard. Seeing the two people on the ground, he said to them, "Why are you two sitting on the ground?" Seeing Xiao Changtian, the white beast and Luolan looked at the White Tiger in front of them with fear. Feeling their gazes, Xiao Changtian had a bad feeling. Could these two people be afraid of cats? With this thought in mind, Xiao Changtian walked over and said to the White Tiger, "Go play somewhere else. You're scaring me." Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the White Tiger withdrew its pressure on the white beast and Luolan. When he left, he gave the white beast and Lorraine a warning look. It was as if he was warning them not to do it again. After the White Tiger left, the white beast and Lorraine slowly heaved a sigh of relief. Then the white beast said to Xiao Changtian, "Thank you, senior." Hearing the white beast's words, Xiao Changtian was speechless. He also wanted them to learn how to raise wild beasts. Now it seemed that there was no hope. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 771. Dozens of cards, one desolate forbidden land, Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Xiao Changtian looked at the white beast and Lorraine on the ground and said slowly, "It's just a small matter. I didn't know you were afraid of cats." A cat. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the white beast was shocked. The pressure the White Tiger gave him just now was still vivid in his mind. Only Senior would dare to call a divine beast like the White Tiger a cat. Luolan was still in shock. If Xiao Changtian hadn't just arrived, she really didn't know what to do. After all, as the holy maiden of the Imperial Beast Peak, she knew better than anyone else. Divine beasts, especially powerful ones, attached great importance to reproduction. Just now, the White Tiger had clearly educated the Qilin and the Paishio as if they were its descendants. The innate skills of divine beasts were usually one of their biggest secrets. It was impossible for ordinary people to see it. If they did, the only outcome would be death. Just now, the White Tiger did not kill her and her senior brother on the spot. To them, it was already very fortunate. As Lorraine thought this, she apologized to Xiao Changtian. "Senior, I'm sorry." Xiao Changtian saw Luolan's expression and waved his hand at her. That white cat usually likes to run around in the courtyard. As for me, I didn't know that you were afraid of him. Otherwise, I would have asked you to pay more attention. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the white beast and Luolan both showed gratitude to Xiao Changtian. It was really rare to see such an understanding and reasonable expert like Senior. However, Xiao Changtian also sighed at them. "Originally, I wanted you to help raise these small animals, so that it would be easier to manage the chain stores in the future. But now it seems that it's not very suitable." Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lorraine lowered her head. If she hadn't dragged the white beast to the back to play, they wouldn't have missed such an opportunity. Xiao Changtian continued, "Do you have anyone who can recommend you to raise these little guys?" Although they were a little disappointed, the white beast and Lorraine reacted quickly after hearing Xiao Changshan's words. After pondering for a while, the white beast felt a little troubled. "Senior, these small animals are all divine beasts. When they grow up in the future, they will definitely be existences that can suppress an area. Moreover, most of the divine beasts were arrogant by nature. It was really difficult to find a suitable person to raise them. Moreover, there were only him and Lorraine on Imperial Beast Peak." At this moment, Lorraine slowly said to Xiao Changtian. Senior, do you have any requirements for the candidates? Xiao Changtian looked at Luo Lan and said directly, humans don't need to be too strong. They just need to be serious and responsible. Of course, you can't be afraid of these small animals. He lived in the deep mountains and forests. That person's cultivation was not important. The key was to be responsible. In any case, he had not seen a single person during the time he had lived here. How could anyone come and steal it? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lorraine's eyes rolled. Then he seemed to have thought of something and slowly said to Xiao Changtian, Senior, Feng Linger of Phoenix Perch Peak is a woman who has a hard time cultivating. But according to rumors, all kinds of small animals are very friendly to her at her place. Every disciple of the Starry Sky sect had more or less heard of the number one beauty of the Starry Sky sect. However, Feng Linger did not show her face in the Starry Sky sect because of the family feud. Therefore, there were all kinds of news about Feng Linger. Luo Lan only told Xiao Changtian what she knew. After Xiao Changtian heard Luo Lan's words, he slowly said to her, Then what is she doing now? Is there a chance to fight for it? If the girl had a proper job, it would be difficult to invite her over. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Lorraine said with some difficulty, Feng Qifeng and our relationship isn't very good. He's a competitor with us. It will be a little difficult to find Feng Linger. After Lorraine finished speaking, the white beast added, Senior, we will try our best to find Feng Linger. Although Phoenix Perch Peak and Imperial Beast Peak were competing for the next main peak. However, Xiao Changtian was a great benefactor to their Imperial Beast Peak. Even if Feng Linger was his enemy, the white beast would still help Xiao Changtian find her. After Xiao Changtian heard the white beast's words, he slowly understood. This Feng Linger's family should be the same as him now, running a stall. They were now in a competitive relationship with him. It would be difficult to win him over. After thinking it through, Xiao Changtian said to the white beast and Lorraine, You can talk to her about the possibility of us working together in the future to open a chain store together. Since everyone was selling meat, why not join forces and become stronger? Then, Xiao Changtian said to the white beast, Of course we can talk about the profits, as long as we don't mistreat others. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the white beast and Lorraine looked at each other. Phoenix Perch Peak and 10,000 Sword Peak had always had a good relationship, and they wanted to win him over. I'm afraid it won't be easy. At the same time, Xiao Changtian took out 2 scrolls from his interspatial ring. After handing them to the white beast and Lorraine, he said to them slowly, This is a recipe that I wrote when I was bored. I can bring it over to show them. It can also be considered our sincerity. As Xiao Changtian spoke, he saw the white beast and Lorraine completely immersed in their recipes. Looking at them, Xiao Changtian also realized something. He slowly said to them, Are you interested in this recipe? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the white beast and Lorraine finally reacted from the picture scroll. The method of using demon beasts and spirit herbs described in the scroll was something they had seen in their lives. With this painting scroll, the white beast and Lorraine felt that their beast taming techniques had improved by more than one level. Then, the two of them nodded at Xiao Changtian. Xiao Changtian saw their reactions and smiled at them. I didn't know what to ask you to do at first, but now it's good. As he spoke, Xiao Changtian also took out dozens of paintings from his interspatial ring. You can take these things that you like to learn. How to deal with wild beasts in the future will depend on you. When the white beast and Luo Lan heard Xiao Changshan's words and saw the dozens of paintings in front of them, they were dumbfounded. This scroll had given them a lot of insight, and Senior had casually taken dozens of such scrolls. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 772. Destroy if you can't get it. 1 Stellar Sect Phoenix Peak. Feng Linger stood in front of the Phoenix Nest Peak Master's cave dwelling. Linger, how are you doing with the things I taught you before? Feng Linger's face turned red when she heard the words of the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master. Master, I've been practicing hard these few days, and have almost mastered it. Yes, that's good. The peak master of Phoenix Nest Peak nodded in satisfaction. Then he waved his hand toward the outside. Qin Shou's figure slowly walked in. This is the holy son of the 10,000 Swords Peak. Follow him, and he will bring you to that person. When the time comes, everything will depend on you. Feng Linger also looked behind her when she heard the words of the Phoenix Nest Peak's peak master. At this moment, Qin Shou also looked at Feng Linger. The moment he saw Feng Linger, even though Qin Shou had seen countless women, he was still stunned. Usually in the Starry Sky sect, it was those women who took the initiative to look for him. He did not take the initiative to pursue any woman. When he saw Feng Linger today, his eyes revealed a trace of lust. Then he'll have to trouble young Master Qin Shou. Feng Linger's voice slowly sounded in Qin Shou's ears. Only then did Qin Shou recover from his thoughts. Looking at Feng Linger's sweet smile, Qin Shou also said to her, "It's just a small matter. Miss Feng, you don't have to be so polite." When he saw Feng Linger's smile, Qin Shou also imagined what level his cultivation would reach after cultivating with her. More importantly, Feng Linger was still a virgin. That would be a huge boost to him. And how could the Phoenix Peak Master, who was standing at the side, not be familiar with Qin Shou's gaze? Back then, when the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak saw her, her gaze was almost exactly the same. Like father, like son. A hint of displeasure flashed across the eyes of the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master. Then he transmitted a message to Qin Shou. "Qin Shou, although Linger is beautiful, she's the gift we want to give to that senior." Accompanied by the words of Phoenix Nest Peak's peak leader, Qin Shou nodded at her. However, a trace of unwillingness still flashed across Qin Shou's face. A woman like this, not only did he not enjoy her, he even wanted to personally give her to others. It was simply a humiliation to him. However, when he thought of the grand plan of the 10,000 Swords Peak and the Phoenix Perch Peak, Qin Shou also said to the Phoenix Perch Peak's peak master, "Don't worry, I'll definitely bring Linger to that person." "That's good. Linger's cultivation is low. You have to protect her well on the way." When the Phoenix Nest Peak's peak master heard Qin Shou's words, he chuckled and reminded him. As soon as he finished speaking, Qin Shou assured the Phoenix Nest Peak's peak master, "I'll definitely protect Linger. Linger, let's go." Unknowingly, the way Qin Shou addressed Feng Linger had changed. After Qin Shou finished speaking, Feng Linger also shot a questioning look at the peak master of Phoenix Nest Peak. "You can follow young Master Qin." Following that under Qin Shou's lead, Feng Linger also quickly arrived at Star Town. When he arrived at the stall on the Myriad Swords Peak, Qin Shou also took out a bottle of medicine from his interspatial ring. "Linger, I know what you want to do. This is a little help from me. When the time comes, give that person some. Perhaps the success rate will be higher." Feng Linger was also a little embarrassed to hear her motive from Qin Shou. "Thank you, senior brother. This should be what Master said. Acacia silk powder." However, her red cheeks made Feng Linger even more beautiful. When Qin Shou saw Feng Linger's appearance, a trace of malevolence flashed across his eyes. However, he quickly hid it and nodded at Feng Linger. Then he pointed at the stall where the Imperial Beast Peak was, and said to Feng Linger, "That person is at the stall. Go over and eat. With your beauty, that person will definitely notice you." Feng Linger looked at the stall on Imperial Beast Peak and nodded at Qin Shou. Then under Qin Shou's gaze he walked over. After she left, Go Xiongqin appeared out of nowhere. "Young Master, that girl is the best in the world. Young Master is really blessed." When Qin Shou heard Go Xiongqin's words, he also slapped him. "Aha!" Go Xiongqin covered his face and screamed. He looked at Qin Shou with eyes filled with grievance. Did he say something wrong? No, young Master's beauty was very intimate. Then, Qin Shou's voice slowly traveled over. "After today, there won't be that woman." At this moment, Qin Shou's expression also turned gloomy. The bottle of medicine he gave Feng Linger just now, as long as they drank it, even if it was an aphrodisiac poison, after it was done, the vitality in the body would also disappear. As he thought of this in his heart, Qin Shou slowly said, "If I, Qin Shou, can't get it, no one else can." Qin Shou said to Go Xiongqin, "You go to the stall at the Mountain of Imperial Beasts and keep an eye on it. see if Ling left with the people from the mountain of imperial beasts. He didn't know why Qin Shou was angry, but Go Xiongqin didn't dare to be negligent. All right, young master, I'll do it now. Remember, you have to confirm whether Ling left with that person. This is related to the grand plan of our mountain peak. Qin Shou's voice was heard again. Go Xiongqin hurriedly nodded and ran out. At the same time, at the stall on Imperial Beast Peak. After queuing for a while, Feng Ling also came to the front of the stall. When she saw the white beast, she said to him, "Give me some beef snacks, thank you." "All right." At this moment, the white beast also responded instinctively. When it raised its head and saw Feng Ling, its body trembled. Miss Feng Ling. These few days, he had been helping Xiao Changtian find news of Feng Ling. After finally getting Feng Ling's portrait, he was about to think of a way to get close to her. He didn't expect Feng Ling to come down the mountain to buy meat. When Feng Ling heard the white beast's words, she also nodded at him. "Senior brother, do you know me? Miss Ling, please." At this moment, the white beast also hurriedly beckoned Feng Ling to sit down on the stall. Then he ran to the back of the stall. At this time, Xiao Changtian and Luolan were dealing with some demon beasts. Seeing the white beast in a hurry, Xiao Changtian said, "White beast, is the meat sold so quickly? Why are you in such a hurry?" The white beast shook its head at Xiao Changshan's words. "Senior, that's not it. The Linger girl you're looking for is right here at the stall. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 773. We don't understand the handsome world. 1-star town, Imperial Beast Peak stall. Xiao Changtian also walked out after hearing the white beast's words. "Let's go talk to her." As soon as he finished speaking, Xiao Changtian and the white beast walked towards the guest table. "Senior, it's that person." The white beast pointed at Feng Ling, who was eating at a guest table, and said slowly to him. Xiao Changtian looked over and saw a woman with waist-length hair sitting at the stall. Dressed in dark red clothes, she was eating beef with utensils in her hands. Even when they were eating, Feng Ling still had the appearance of a graceful lady. Not to mention anything else, if this woman was willing to help him raise wild beasts. The first advantage was that it was pleasing to the eyes. While Feng Ling was eating, many customers wanted to strike up a conversation with her. However, the result was, without exception, a warm face was stuck to a cold buttocks. At this moment, Xiao Changtian walked to Feng Ling's guest table and said slowly to her, "Miss, is it convenient to talk?" Feng Ling raised her head and saw Xiao Changshan's appearance. She sighed in her heart. What a handsome young master. He was dressed in white and had an imposing manner. He looked like a peerless expert. With this thought in mind, Feng Ling also smiled at Xiao Changtian and said, "Young master, what kind of place is this stall?" "This stall is naturally where I make a living." Hearing Feng Ling's words, Xiao Changtian shrugged his shoulders. The way this girl spoke to him meant that she was willing to talk to him. When Feng Ling heard Xiao Changshan's words, she thought of what the Phoenix Nest Peak's peak master had told her. At this moment he was a little nervous. He said to Xiao Changtian slowly, "Young master, please take a seat." The peak master of Phoenix Peak had once told him that person sold demon beast meat at the stall on Imperial Beast Peak. She had seen the portraits of the white beast and Lorraine on the stall. This Xiao Changtian was naturally the peerless expert he was looking for. Hearing Feng Ling's words, Xiao Changtian also wanted to sit down opposite Feng Ling. Xiao Changshan's action also made the surrounding customers jealous. Isn't the shop owner just a bit more handsome? That girl rejected us, but gave him a chance. He's handsome because of his ability. What can we do about it? However, I heard that the Heaven Secrets Pavilion has a disguise pill. If we work hard, we might be able to buy some to find a wife one day. Sigh, just keep thinking. Being handsome is just a chance. Who says you'll definitely succeed? However, just as the brother finished speaking, Feng Ling said to Xiao Changtian, "Young master, sit over here. It's easier to talk this way." As she spoke, Feng Ling also pointed at the empty seat beside her. There was enough space for the two of them to sit on a bench. What did you say just now? It might not succeed. I think the girl is already hinting. Damn it, when I earn money, I will definitely get a few disguise pills. As expected, being handsome means you can do whatever you want. At this time, the brother also said with grief and indignation. It was as if she was the one she loved, and her heart was broken. Xiao Changtian hesitated for a moment when he heard Feng Ling. Miss, is this appropriate? Although there was plenty of space on the bench, it didn't seem appropriate for a man and a woman to be alone with so many people watching. Feng Ling looked at Xiao Changtian. At this time, her face was already a little red as she nodded at him. Seeing Feng Ling nod in agreement, Xiao Changtian didn't want to give her face. He sat beside Feng Ling and said slowly to her, Miss, I don't like to beat around the bush. I just want to ask if you want to work with me? Xiao Changtian sat beside Feng Ling. This was the first time Feng Ling was so close to a man. At this moment, his heart was already extremely nervous. He heard Xiao Changshan's words intermittently. Then he said to Xiao Changtian, Senior, I'm willing to follow you to your house. After Feng Ling finished speaking, the surrounding customers finished their food and left the stall. If they were still here, who knew how much jealousy they would be feeling? They had gone through thousands of flowers, but they had not picked a single one. She was loved by everyone and blossomed like a flower. The peak of one's life. Xiao Changtian didn't expect Feng Ling to agree so easily. However, Xiao Changtian also said to Feng Ling, There's something I have to tell you in advance. If it's not suitable, I don't want you. If this woman was also afraid of those small animals, he would have to find someone else. After Feng Ling heard Xiao Changshan's words, she also nodded at him. I understand. The Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak had told her before that a man like Senior must have seen countless women. He definitely could not rely on his beauty. He still had to use the things his master had given him. After Xiao Changtian finished speaking, the customers on the stall also left. This shop owner was actually picky about such a top-grade girl. He couldn't stand it anymore. He really couldn't stand it anymore. We don't understand the world of handsomeness. In a corner, Go Xiongqin also saw everything that happened in the stall. I have to tell the young master. As he said that, Go Xiongqin looked behind him and saw Qin Shou standing beside him. Young master, so you're here. At this moment, Qin Shou's face was also very gloomy, especially when he saw Xiao Changtian and Feng Ling sitting together. He clenched his fists and said viciously, You're really a slut. However, after today you'll all die. I just don't know how much flavor your body will have after you die. Go Xiongqin didn't know what Qin Shouzao was talking about, and saw that Qin Shou's expression wasn't good. At this moment they were also silent. Anyway, he didn't dare to say anything or ask anything now. Then, Go Xiongqin saw Qin Shou walking towards the direction of the Starry Sky sect without turning back. Seeing that there was nothing else for him to keep an eye on at the Beast Trainer Peak stall, he was not worried about the situation. Gaudi Qin quickly followed behind Qin Shou. Then he heard Qin Shou say to him, Black Bear, where did Bitong go? Go Xiongqin responded to Qin Shou's words. Young master, Miss Baitong has already returned to the Starry Sky sect. She said that she will be waiting for you in your room. Qin Shou's mood seemed to improve a little after hearing what Go Xiongqin then. He turned into a stream of light and flew toward his room in the Star Sky sect. Why, young master, are you all so thirsty now? Guber Qin muttered as he looked at the direction where Qin Shou had left. On the other side, Xiao Changtian brought Feng Ling to his own courtyard. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 774. Scared of being alone late at night. 1. Desolate Forbidden Land, Xiao Changshan's courtyard. After Xiao Changtian finished packing up, he also brought Feng Ling to his courtyard. It was also Feng Ling first time in the desolation forbidden ground, and she was filled with curiosity about everything around her. Xiao Changtian slowly pushed open the door of his courtyard and said to Fen's Ling, Miss Ling, the courtyard is a little simple. I don't know if you're used to it. His courtyard was in a deep forest. He did not know if the other party would be able to accept it. When Feng Linger heard Xiao Changshan's words, she happily replied, "Senior, I also lived in the mountains when I was young. I like this place." In fact, Xiao Changtian had given her many surprises since they met. Originally, she thought Xiao Changtian was an old monster with dry skin. Seeing that Xiao Changtian was a young man, she could already accept it. The place where Xiao Changtian was living now made her even happier. This place was similar to the place where she lived when she was young. For a moment, Feng Ling also felt like she had returned home. Feng Ling's arrival naturally attracted the attention of the divine beasts in the courtyard. It was the first time that the little Pai Xiu walked out of the courtyard and immediately walked towards Feng Ling. Feng Ling was also curious when she saw the little fellow suddenly rushing towards her. "This is a Pai Xiu." After Feng Ling saw the Pai Xiu's appearance clearly and saw its cute appearance, she liked it very much. Seeing Pai Xiu staring at his interspatial ring, Feng Ling understood something. He took out a few gold coins from his interspatial ring and handed them to Pai Xiu. Here you go." Pai Xiu's eyes lit up when he saw the gold coins. He grabbed them in his hands and started gnawing on them. Xiao Changtian found that the gold coins hidden in the room could always be found later. He carried the gold coins he earned with him, which gave Pai Xiu no chance to take advantage of him. Seeing Pai Xiu gnawing on Feng Ling's gold coin, Xiao Changtian said unhappily, "You bastard, you just arrived and you're already eating their food. Miss Linger, you can't spoil him." It was not easy for everyone to make a living. How could his Pai Xiu eat other people's gold coins? Thinking of this, Xiao Changtian also wanted to return a few gold coins to Feng Linger. Feng Linger shook her head at Xiao Changtian. "Senior, there's no need." Looking at the little Kylin beside Pai Xiu, Feng Linger said to Xiao Changtian, "Senior, is this a Qilin?" Xiao Changtian scratched his head when he heard Feng Ling's words. "I don't know. I picked this little guy up on the way." Xiao Changtian didn't have any illusions about the Qilin. Besides, he had never seen such a petite Qilin before. The legendary Qilin was the kind that could suppress the heavens and had monstrous strength. This little fellow probably looked like him. "Qilin can bring us good luck. Senior, you really are an expert." At this moment, Feng Linger was hugging the little Qilin, and her eyes were filled with love. He wasn't stingy with his praise for Xiao Changtian. The nervousness they had when they came here was completely washed away by the appearance of these divine beast cubs. White Tiger and Black Tortoise looked at Feng Ling and swept a glance at her. "Master, I brought a pretty good woman with that kind of physique. Master is really remarkable. With this person here and working with Master, the growth speed of these cubs should increase by several times." Xiao Changtian saw that Feng Ling and the small animals in the courtyard were not unfamiliar. On the contrary, he looked very close to her and was very happy in his heart. Did he find the right person this time? At this moment, in Xiao Changshan's heart, Feng Linger had basically passed the test. Thinking of this, Xiao Changtian said to Feng Linger, "Miss Linger, I'll bring you around the courtyard first." Hearing Xiao Changtian say that the days were long, Feng Linger was also a little shy. Then she nodded at him. Soon, under Xiao Changshan's guidance, Feng Linger had a general understanding of the courtyard. Standing beside Feng Linger, Xiao Changtian said to her, "Miss Linger, this is the situation here. Take a look. Is it suitable?" When Feng Linger heard Xiao Changshan's words, she also looked at him. Many thoughts flashed through her mind. His master told him that peerless experts usually had a solitary personality and were tested everywhere. After coming here, the senior kept asking him if he was willing to stay. Was this a test of his loyalty? As she thought about this, she said to Xiao Changtian, "Linger likes this place very much. Wherever senior goes, Linger will go." Hearing Feng Linger's words, Xiao Changtian felt a little strange, but he didn't know what was wrong. However, it was good that the lady was willing to stay with him. Thinking of this, Xiao Changtian said to Feng Linger, "Since that's the case, Linger, your room is over there. You can stay there from now on." While speaking, Xiao Changtian pointed at a room in the courtyard. Feng Linger was stunned when she heard Xiao Changshan's words. Then she said to Xiao Changtian, "Then what about you, senior?" "Me? I live there." Xiao Changtian pointed to his room and said to Feng Ling, didn't he just introduce her to him? When Feng Ling heard Xiao Changshan's words, she said to herself in her heart, this was a test given to him by Senior. He had played all kinds of tricks before, so he valued whether he was willing or not. Senior must be testing him by saying this. As long as he said yes, Senior would definitely chase him away later. He liked this place so much, and there was also Senior. Only he could help him deal with the demons. Thinking of this, Feng Ling said to Xiao Changtian, Senior, Ling doesn't need to have her own room. I'll stay with you. Hearing Feng Ling's words, Xiao Changtian frowned and said to her, but there's only one bed in my room. Senior, isn't it better to share a bed? This way we can sleep together. At this moment, Feng Ling also showed the items that the Phoenix Peak had taught her. At the same time, he winked at Xiao Changtian. Seeing Feng Ling like this, Xiao Changtian suddenly realized that he didn't understand her at all. From Miss Ling's words, could it be that she was also afraid of staying alone in a room late at night? Otherwise, why would she think that there was someone beside her? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 775. Feng Ling's Operation 1. Miss Ling, are you afraid? Xiao Changtian asked Feng Ling. When Feng Ling heard Xiao Changshan's words, her expression instantly became nervous. What was going on? Why did Senior ask him this? Could it be that he had seen through his thoughts? Or was he going to test himself? At this moment, Feng Ling's mind was filled with a myriad of thoughts. Definitely see through it at a glance. However, when she thought about how a person like Senior would probably chase her away if he saw through her thoughts, Feng Ling was relieved. The reason why Senior asked this question was definitely to test him. What kind had Senior not seen? If he forcefully made up a ASIN, Senior would. Moreover, he had just arrived here. If he was discovered by the Senior like this, he did not know what the consequences would be. Therefore, he might as well tell the truth. Senior, you might not know, but when I was young. Then, Feng Ling told Chen Ming about her tragic experience. Feng Ling sobbed as she slowly recounted her tragic experience. Her eyes were slightly red as she looked at Chen Ming, with an even more sorrowful expression. Senior, if you don't agree, I can actually sleep alone in the room. That little difficulty will have to be faced one day. Feng Ling wiped the tears that she had squeezed out. This was according to the method his master had taught him. To deal with someone like Senior, it was most appropriate to act weak. As Xiao Changtian listened to Feng Ling's words, he secretly sighed in his heart. Feng Ling's life was not easy. She had experienced such a tragic thing at such a young age. Moreover, she still had hope in this world, and helped him take care of these animals. It was really rare. In the end, Xiao Changtian looked at Feng Ling and let out a long sigh. Ling, I didn't expect you to have such a tragic experience. Hearing this, Feng Ling's expression became even more nervous. What did Senior mean? Could it be that he didn't believe her? But what he said was true. Did Senior not believe him? Senior, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Actually, this is nothing to me. Being able to stay by Senior's side now is the luckiest thing that has happened to me in my life. Looking at Xiao Changtian, Feng Ling continued. He didn't know what Senior was thinking, but he had followed what his master had taught him. There shouldn't be too many mistakes, right? Ling, you don't have to apologize. I was wrong about this. I shouldn't have brought it up like this. If you want to sleep, then go ahead. I won't stop you. Xiao Changtian sighed heavily after he finished speaking. This girl's life was not easy. Moreover, he was the one who wanted her to help guard these animals. This girl only asked to sleep on his bed. If he did not agree, it would seem too harsh. Feng Ling didn't expect Senior to agree just like that. Senior, what are you doing? Agree? Feng Ling asked again, not daring to imagine. 6 inches, yes. Xiao Changtian looked at Feng Ling's surprise and sighed in his. He had only agreed to let this girl sleep in his bed. And this Feng Ling was already so happy. It seemed that he had to treat Feng Ling better in the future. Feng Ling looked at Xiao Changtian and nodded. She was so excited that she almost jumped up. He didn't expect this senior to be so handsome and easy to talk to. His good impression of Xiao Changtian rose again. All right, Linger, you should pack up first. After Xiao Changtian brought Feng Linger to his room, he walked out. Looking at Xiao Changshan's back, Feng Linger smiled. He would definitely be able to take down Senior this time. Feng Linger was excited when she remembered that she still had the medicine that Qin Shou had given her. Looks like I'll have to rely on you tonight. After saying that, Feng Linger took out the bottle of medicine and prepared to drink it later. Crash! However, just as Feng Linger was feeling extremely happy, a sound suddenly came from under the bed. What is this? Hearing the commotion, Feng Linger's expression changed instantly. Could it be that there was someone else in Senior's room? Huel, hearing the commotion, Feng Linger frowned and slowly walked to the bedside. Just as Feng Linger was feeling nervous, a figure suddenly jumped out from under the bed. Phew, I was scared to death. I thought it was something. Looking at the Pai Xiu jumping out from under the bed, Feng Linger let out a long sigh. She almost thought that she had been exposed. Pai Xiu looked at the medicine in Feng Linger's hand with burning eyes. They had already felt that something was wrong before Feng Linger entered the senior's room. Therefore, under the discussion of the beasts, they sent Pai Xiu to investigate the smiatron. As expected, the potion in this woman's hand was not anything. This woman actually wanted to use this potion to harm Master? Just as Feng Linger was about to breathe, the Pai Xiu suddenly jumped onto Feng Linger's body and took the medicine from Feng Linger's hand with its mouth. Damn it! Why did you take my potion? Feng Linger didn't expect that this Pai Xiu would actually snatch her potion away. Her face was filled with anger as she looked at Pai Xiu, who had climbed onto the table, and said angrily, "Roar, human! Do you want to use this potion to harm Master?" In front of Feng Linger, Pai Xiu suddenly revealed his avatar. Feng Linger was so shocked that she fell onto the bed behind her. The Pai Xiu in front of her was no longer a cute little animal. It was clearly a terrifying demonic beast. 6-inch you, how could it be like this? At this moment, Feng Linger's heart was filled with fear. She didn't expect that such a cute Pai Xiu could actually unleash such terrifying power. For a moment, Feng Linger's face was filled with despair. You're a woman. Although you have a special physique, there's no way you can have any ideas about Master. Pai Xiu said to Feng Linger, who was trembling on the bed, with a fierce expression. And when had Feng Linger ever seen such a huge formation? When had she ever seen such a terrifying demonic beast? Feng Linger saw that Pai Xiu had fainted on the bed, before he could hear what the Pai Xiu said. Creak dash, after Feng Linger fainted, Xiao Changtian pushed open the door and walked in. Hey, why are you sleeping so early? When Xiao Changtian came in, he saw Feng Linger fainted on the bed, so he said in surprise, "Forget it, she should be tired. In that case, I won't disturb her." Xiao Changtian didn't notice that Pai Xiu had quietly left with the potion in his mouth, so he looked at Feng Linger and shook his head. He had originally planned to make a statement, but since that was the case, he could only do it today. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 776. Unbelievable 1. The next day, in Xiao Changshan's room, Feng Linger slowly woke up. We're done for. Looking at the bright sky outside, Feng Linger instantly woke up. She still remembered that she wanted to drink the potion Qin Shou gave her yesterday, but it was snatched away by Pai Xiu. Then, she seemed to have seen Pai Xiu's terrifying Dharmakaya. Thinking of this, Feng Linger could not help but tremble. That Pai Xiu was simply too terrifying. However, it seemed that his mission had failed as well. Aya, what can we do? Not only did I lose the medicine, but I also didn't let Senior sleep with me. Senior won't despise me, right? Sitting on the bed, Feng Linger muttered. She was really afraid that her mission would fail. If the Peak Master found out, he would definitely not let her off easily. The more Feng Linger thought about it, the sadder she became. No, he definitely couldn't sit still and wait for death. He had to find Senior first. Thinking of this, Feng Ling immediately got out of bed and walked towards the door. Senior. As soon as Feng Ling went out, she saw Xiao Changtian standing in the courtyard. Beside him was the Pai Xiao, who had scared her unconscious yesterday. Former senior. At this moment, Feng Ling was reminded of the scene last night, so she spoke to Xiao Changtian with a trembling voice. Oh, Ling, you're awake. I have something to tell you. Xiao Changtian looked at Feng Ling and said with a smile. He did not notice that something was wrong with Feng Ling. Senior, why don't you just say it? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Feng Ling's heart instantly turned cold. Senior, did you find my medicine? If that was really the case, then he was really done for. Oh, it's like this. Ling, didn't I ask you to help raise these animals? This book is for you. Read it first. It'll be more convenient when the time comes. Xiao Changtian then took out the book he had bought from the store, How to Raise Beasts, and handed it to Feng Ling. Looking at Xiao Changshan's actions, Feng Ling heaved a sigh of relief. She thought that Senior had discovered something, but it turned out to be this. Then, Feng Ling took the book from Xiao Changshan's hands. How to Raise Wild Beasts. Feng Ling muttered as she looked at the words on the book. Beast. Senior, are the Pai Xiao and whatnot in this place really wild beasts? With curiosity, Feng Ling slowly opened the book in her hand. Although she didn't know what the contents were, the things given by the senior couldn't be ordinary, right? However, when Feng Ling flipped to the first page of the book, her pupils instantly constricted and her eyes widened, because she could clearly feel the huge change in her spiritual power after she finished reading the first page. What's wrong with my body? Just as Feng Ling was in a daze, the changes in her body became greater and greater. Finally, Feng Ling felt the earth-shattering changes in her body. This woman has awakened the glazed body. At this moment, Pai Xiao, who was beside Xiao Changtian, was also stunned. He did not expect this woman to have such a physique. At this moment, Feng Ling also realized that she seemed to be different from before. Moreover, his cultivation had also broken through. Feng Ling had been at Phoenix Perch Peak for so many years, but her cultivation had never improved. Although she had worked very hard, because her aptitude was too poor, she had never been able to break through. But now, just by looking at this book, his cultivation that had not broken through for many years had broken through. It was simply too unbelievable. Ling, what did you say? Xiao Changtian looked at Feng Ling and asked in confusion. Senior, is this book really for me? Feng Ling asked Xiao Changtian excitedly, as she was brought back to her senses by Xiao Changshan's words. Of course, this book is yours from now on. I still need your help to raise these animals. Xiao Changtian didn't expect Feng Ling to be so excited just by giving her a book. At this moment, Feng Ling was not only grateful to Xiao Changtian, but she also thought of the mission that the Peak Master had given her. If he brought this book back to the Peak Master would definitely be happy. Thinking of this, Feng Ling became more and more excited. However, what she did not know was that only people with the glazed physique could cultivate this book. Feng Ling didn't know that she had awakened the glazed body. She just felt that she was different from before. Senior, thank you so much. Don't worry, I'll definitely complete your request. Feng Ling said excitedly to Xiao Changtian. She had to hurry back and give this cultivation technique to the Peak Master. Then, the two of them exchanged a few more words before Xiao Changtian left. Feng Ling looked at Xiao Changshan's back as he left. She turned around and quickly ran back to the Phoenix Nest sect. Within the Phoenix Nest sect. How is it, Ling? Did you take him down last night? The Peak Master of Phoenix Perch Peak asked excitedly as he looked at Feng Ling in front of him. At this moment, the Phoenix Nest Peak Master looked at Feng Ling's rosy face and could not help but ask excitedly. Looking at Feng Ling's appearance, she must have taken down that person last night. Now everything became easy. Peak Master, no, Ling didn't capture Senior last night. Feng Ling looked at the Peak Master of Phoenix Perch Peak and shook her head. What? The smile on the face of the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak instantly froze. What's wrong with this Feng Ling? He didn't even get it. She had taught her everything she had treasured, and even trained her for so long. Now Feng Linger actually told her that she had not taken down that person. You still have the face to come back if you didn't take it down? Are you worthy of all the things I have given you? At this moment, the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master said to Feng Linger angrily. This Feng Linger was simply trash. Sect Master, don't be angry. You're right. Feng Linger immediately explained. Although I didn't manage to capture Senior, I managed to obtain a peerless cultivation technique. Feng Linger took out the book Xiao Changtian gave her. How to Raise Wild Beasts, How to Raise Wild Beasts. Ha, Feng Linger, you're getting bolder and bolder. He actually dared to use a book to trick this Peak Master. Do you really think that this Peak Master will miss you? The Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master looked at the book in Feng Linger's hand at this moment, and the anger on his face became even more intense. This was because the name of this book did not look like a peerless cultivation technique. Instead, it looked like it was casually bought from a stall. Moreover, if it was really some peerless cultivation technique, would that expert be so foolish as to give it to Feng Linger, who he had just met? The moment Feng Linger arrived, the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak was in a state of turmoil. He did not notice the change in Feng Linger's spiritual energy at all. Therefore, when he read this book, the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak only felt that Feng Linger was fooling him. Men, capture Feng Linger for me. At this moment, the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak said angrily. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 777. The 100-year competition is definitely winner. 1. What's going on? Why are you so angry? At this moment, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak walked in and said, Peak Master, everything I said is true. If you don't believe me, look at my cultivation. At this moment, Feng Linger was also very anxious. She did not expect the Peak Master to not believe her, and the book in her hand could really increase her cultivation. You actually broke through. Before the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master could say anything, the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master said with his eyes wide open, because he could clearly feel the change in Feng Linger at this moment. He knew very well that Feng Linger's aptitude was very bad. She had been with the Phoenix Nest Peak Master for so long, but she had not broken through. In the end, he broke through after just one trip. This was simply too unbelievable. Could it be that the expert was very satisfied with their actions? Linger, give me the cultivation technique in your hand. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak said excitedly at this moment. If it was really because of this cultivation method, then wouldn't they have made a killing? As expected. As expected. When the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak flipped open the book, he also felt the change in the spiritual energy in his body. Although he did not break through, this change was enough to surprise the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak. Is it really that magical? As for the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master, he looked at the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master with a dumbfounded expression. What was going on? Wasn't this just a lousy book? How could it be so powerful? Fenger, we've really struck it rich this time. After looking at the peak of Phoenix Nest Peak, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords laughed. With this cultivation technique, what was there to be afraid of? This was simply the blessing of the heavens on their 10,000 Swords Peak. The Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master did not believe it, and took the cultivation technique. When she opened the cultivation technique, shock instantly appeared on her face. So, it's true. The Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak said excitedly. He had thought that Feng Linger didn't want to die, and was using a broken book to fool him. He didn't expect that the expert would actually give such a powerful cultivation technique to Feng Linger. Men, from today onwards, Feng Linger is the holy maiden of our Phoenix Perch Peak. At this moment, the Phoenix Peak Master said loudly. There was no anger in his tone at all. Thank you, Peak Master. Feng Linger did not expect that this cultivation method would actually bring her such great benefits. Therefore, she looked at the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master and said gratefully. However, the peak masters of 10,000 Swords Peak and Phoenix Nest Peak would never have thought that even if there were changes in the spiritual energy in their bodies, it would only be fleeting. The only one who could really cultivate this cultivation method was Feng Ling-er's glass physique. Wan Jian, what do you think this senior means? Ling-er didn't get together with him last night. Why did that expert give the cultivation technique to Ling-er? After the joy subsided, the Phoenix Nest Peak Master asked in puzzlement. Logically speaking, this shouldn't be the case. Feng-er, do you know why experts are called experts? Looking at the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master, the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master laughed loudly. Wan Jian, just tell me. Don't keep me in suspense. Seeing the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master like this, the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master bashfully hammered the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master's chest and said, "Ha ha ha, Feng-er. That must mean that the expert is satisfied with our method." Although the master did not touch Ling-er last night, he must have had a good impression of Ling-er. Otherwise, why would he give such a powerful cultivation technique to Ling-er? The Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master said to the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master without thinking. I see. At this moment, Feng Ling-er and the Peak Master of Phoenix Perch Peak said in unison. Feng Ling-er didn't expect that it was because of this that Senior gave her the cultivation technique. She originally thought that her position in Senior's heart wasn't high. She didn't expect that it was like this. Immediately, confidence was ignited in Feng Ling-er's heart. Ha ha ha, Wan Jian, with the help of this divine technique, won't we definitely win the 100-year competition? The Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak covered his mouth and laughed. This time, even if Beast Taming Peak had an expert, so what? Didn't the expert still give them such a powerful cultivation technique? This time, Beast Taming Peak was really finished. Of course, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak laughed loudly. Alright Ling-er, you can go back first. If the expert makes any movements, remember to inform us immediately. Looking at Feng Ling-er, the Peak Master of Innumerable Sword Peak waved his hand and said. After saying that, he carried the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak and walked towards the back. Looking at the background of the two people leaving, Feng Ling-er did not hesitate. She quickly turned into a stream of light and returned to Xiao Changshan's courtyard. At the same time, in Xiao Changshan's courtyard, Ling-er, where did you go just now? I looked around but didn't see you. Looking at Feng Ling-er who walked out from behind the house, Xiao Changtian asked in confusion. Senior, I'm sorry. My stomach was a little uncomfortable just now. Feng Ling-er didn't expect Senior to look for her at this time. She couldn't possibly say that she went to Phoenix Perch Peak, so she casually made up an excuse. It's fine. I just wanted to make arrangements for you. Xiao Changtian did not doubt Feng Ling-er's words at all. After all, such a thing happened to everyone. Senior, please. Feng Ling-er said respectfully to Chen Ming. Actually, there's nothing to be concerned about. I just want to tell you what you should pay attention to when raising these animals. Xiao Changtian smiled. For example, don't give this Pai Xiao too many gold coins. You must remember this. Looking at Feng Ling-er, Xiao Changtian said seriously. They didn't have much gold coins to begin with. If Ling-er went along with Pai Xiao, then he would die from losing money. Yes. Senior, do you have any more information? Feng Ling-er nodded seriously. She thought that Senior was going to say something to her, but it turned out to be this. Now, not to mention feeding Pai Xiao gold coins, even if she were to get close to Pai Xiao, she would be so afraid that her legs would go weak. That's all for now. Do your best and I won't mistreat you. Seeing Feng Ling-er so serious, Xiao Changtian nodded in satisfaction. It seemed that he had found the right person this time. Xiao Changtian left with a peace of mind. He had made an appointment with the White Beast and Lorraine yesterday to teach them how to hunt. If those two learned it, he would have some help. He might even be able to earn more money when he set up his stall in the future. At this moment, the White Beast and Lorraine had arrived at the agreed location. When Senior comes later, you have to learn well. Senior is really too powerful. You can casually defeat such a powerful demon beast. The White Beast looked at Lorraine and said, it was their honor to have someone like Senior teach them how to hunt. They would definitely ask for advice seriously later. Aya, you guys are too polite. Isn't that beast easy to kill? Xiao Changshan's voice came from behind them. Xiao Changtian heard their conversation, but he didn't expect them to be so humble. Therefore, he could not help but smile. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 778, Casual Method 1. Senior, you're too polite. The white beast and Rulin looked at Xiao Changtian and said respectfully, "You two are too polite. This hunting method is simple and ruthless. I'll teach you guys later." Xiao Changtian smiled at them. These two people probably didn't come from a good family. They didn't even learn such a simple hunting method. It was really too pitiful. He didn't know how the two of them had lived until now. Watch closely, you two. Do you see the knife in my hand? Xiao Changtian took out a knife and waved it in the air. Yes, Senior saw it. The two of them immediately nodded in unison. Senior was indeed a senior. A random saber was such a treasured weapon. At this moment, because Xiao Changtian was waving his saber, many demonic beasts in the wilderness felt a chill run down their spines. Who's going to make a move? Why is it so terrifying? At this moment, a centipede lying on a wall in the barren territory asked in horror. Aya, who else can be the last person? You're just making a fuss. A spider slowly crawled out from beside the centipede and said indifferently, how many years had they been in this forbidden land? What kind of cultivators had they not attacked? But hadn't those cultivators not walked out alive? It was precisely because it had been hiding in its own net that it did not see what was going on outside. That was why he said those words unscrupulously. Although the centipede was a centipede, it was a few meters long. It looked extremely terrifying as it crawled on the wall. The other spider was also very huge. Just one spider was as big as a small tree. See that wild boar in front? At this moment, Xiao Changtian was seriously looking at the big wild boar in the distance. Look, I saw it. The two of them looked at the wild boar and swallowed nervously. That was because the big wild boar in the distance was not an ordinary wild boar. It was a wild boar. This fellow was not simple. Just his cultivation was above the sacred sovereign. The power of its attack could send a cultivator flying in an instant, and its speed was very fast. If they encountered the wilderness, a wise person would choose to quietly escape. Now, Xiao Changtian was looking at the wilderness without any fear. Aren't these two too nervous? Wasn't it just a wild boar? Why did he have such an expression? Xiao Changtian glanced at the two people beside him with confusion. However, when he thought about the past situation between the two of them, he felt much more relieved. You two watch carefully. Look at the saber in my hand. Xiao Changtian quickly walked to the side of Huang Mini under the gazes of the two men. The knife in his hand killed Huang Mini in a few moves. Huang Mini had been so scared by Xiao Changshan's blade that he didn't even dare to move. He could only watch as Xiao Changshan's blade landed on his body without any strength to fight back. Senior, you're really amazing. The white beast and Rulin stood in the distance, watching this scene in amazement. That Saint Venerable Huang Xiongya had died under the blade of their senior just like that. Meeting their senior was the luckiest thing in their lives. Senior, what saber technique did you use just now? He's too powerful. The white beast couldn't help but ask when he was helping Xiao Changtian deal with the wild beasts. You mean that thing just now? It was just a casual wave. Xiao Changtian waved his hand. This casual wave of his really couldn't be considered a saber technique. However, you can take a look at this method. After all, it's the same. Xiao Changtian smiled. So this saber technique is called casual technique. Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the admiration on their faces grew even stronger. Senior's casual technique was really amazing. They had to put in 120% of their effort to learn it. At that moment in the Myriad Swords Peak, call Showa over. The Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master said to Uncle Qin the moment he returned to the Myriad Swords Peak. In a short while Qin Shou strode over. Father, how is it? Did Feng Ling bring back any good news? When Qin Shou returned and saw the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak beaming with joy, he immediately guessed that his father must have some good news to tell him. Ha ha, as expected of my son. You guessed it right away. The peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak laughed loudly. This time, Feng Ling brought back something good. After saying that, the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak took out the book, How to Raise Wild Beasts. You have to study this cultivation method carefully. You have to know that Feng Ling broke through a realm, just by looking at it a few times. What is it? There's actually such a thing. Upon hearing the words of the 10,000 Swords Peak, Qin Shou's face was filled with excitement. He didn't expect Feng Ling to really bring back such a good thing. After Qin Shou received the book, How to Raise Wild Beasts, he couldn't wait to open it. Ha ha ha, father. There was indeed such a powerful cultivation technique. After opening the book, Qin Shou clearly felt the changes in his body, so he laughed loudly and said in surprise, "Shower, with this cultivation technique, I can't lose face for my father in the 100-year competition in a few days." The peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak said to Qin Shou earnestly, "Father, don't worry. With this cultivation technique, I'm not afraid of even 10 people from Beast Trainer Peak, let alone one." Qin Shou said to the peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak with a smile. With this cultivation technique, he would definitely be able to shine in the upcoming 100-year competition. Ha ha ha. When the time came, those few people who were familiar with beasts would just wait for him. Okay, go down and practice well. After the two of them chatted for a while, Qin Shou quickly returned with the cultivation technique in his hand. At that time, Xiao Changtian brought the two of them to practice for a while. Senior's casual technique is really amazing. He learned it just by watching it a few times. Not only did he learn it, but he was also able to unleash such great power. The white beast looked at its transformation in surprise. Senior was really generous to them. He was even willing to teach them such a powerful saber technique. That's right. I also feel that this saber technique is really too powerful. Rulin chimed in. Stop standing there. Come quickly, I'll teach you two good methods. Xiao Changtian shouted at the two of them. The two of them didn't hesitate, and quickly walked to Xiao Changshan's side. I thought about it. The two of you are just imitating how I kill wild beasts. Xiao Changtian looked at the two of them, and said with a serious expression, Senior, do you have a better idea? Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the white beast and Rulin looked at each other. Senior's saber technique was already powerful enough. If he taught them something else, wouldn't they have gained too much this time? If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 779, Spider Centipede 1. There are other ways, but the beasts here are not very powerful. Let's walk in later. Xiao Changtian nodded at the two of them. The wild beasts in this place were all wild boars and bison. They did not have any attack power. If the two of them encountered some powerful wild beasts, it would be useless to just learn how to kill them. Walk inside. When the white beast and Luolan heard Xiao Changshan's words, their expressions changed. One had to know that although they were not standing in the depths of the desolate forbidden land, they were almost there. Just the demon beasts in this place were very terrifying. If they walked further in, wouldn't the demon beasts inside casually crush the two of them to death? Aya, why are you two so afraid? Don't you still have mine? Xiao Changtian looked at their fearful expressions, and said with a smile, These two must have seen some powerful wild beasts. No way this time. He had to drag the two of them to face it. Otherwise, if the two of them really encountered it in the future, wouldn't they be finished without his help? Senior is following us. Of course we are not afraid. It's not that we haven't seen those powerful ones inside before. The white beast looked at Xiao Changtian and said, That's right, with Senior by his side. So what if there were some powerful demon beasts inside? Yes. The two of you will follow behind me later. Xiao Changtian looked at the two of them, and nodded with satisfaction. Although these two people were a little timid, they were quite motivated. Then, the few of them walked into the depths of the desolate forbidden land. Spider, why do I feel that something is wrong? As Xiao Changtian and the others walked in, the centipede at the edge of the forbidden land said to the spider beside it, a centipede. Why are you always here? Why is there someone powerful here? Hearing the centipede's sigh, Spider rolled his eyes and said, Sigh, there really is someone. Just as Spider finished speaking, he suddenly saw Xiao Changtian and the other two walking over from afar. No way. You're just a mortal. Centipede, you're getting worse and worse. When the spider saw who it was, it laughed at the centipede, because the spider clearly felt that Xiao Changtian, who was walking in front, had no spiritual power at all, and the two people behind him were just ordinary cultivators. They were not afraid at all. Wow! Xiao Changtian, who was walking, also noticed the huge spider in the distance. The spider's leg was as big as a small tree. Its body was even bigger. There's actually such a big spider inside. Xiao Changtian was also shocked. He had never seen a species of spider that could grow as big as the distant spider. Sky-shaking spider. When they saw the spider, the white beast and Lorraine's expressions changed again. They did not expect to encounter such a powerful demonic beast after taking only a few steps. It was simply too terrifying. Do you know this spider? Xiao Changtian turned around and asked. No. Senior, we've only heard of it. The white beast quickly explained. Oh, although this spider is a little big, it's not useless. When the time comes, we can catch it and grind it into powder. The effect is probably good. Xiao Changtian nodded to the two of them. Grind medicine? This mortal actually had ideas about this spider in front of this spider. He really didn't put this spider in his eyes. Of course, the sky-shaking spider also heard what Changtian said. It didn't expect this mortal to not only not be afraid when he saw it, but he was also plotting in such a loud voice. Did he really think it was deaf? It's actually a mortal. A mortal actually had such a big tone. He was simply courting death. Centipede also saw Xiao Changtian and the other two. He didn't expect that he was worried about a mortal. And this mortal was so arrogant. Spider, don't worry about it. Let me teach this ignorant mortal a lesson first. The centipede took 2 steps forward and said to the sky-shaking spider. The centipede felt a wave of displeasure when it recalled that it had felt uneasy because of this mortal. All right, centipede, stab this mortal to death. The sky-shaking spider at the side also spoke viciously. Yo, there's actually a big centipede here. However, after the centipede took a few steps forward, Xiao Changtian said in surprise. This centipede is good. This centipede could be used as medicine even more than that giant spider. This is actually an earth-moving centipede. Then, the white beast and Lorraine behind Xiao Changtian said in a trembling voice. At first, they thought that encountering a sky-shaking spider was already unlucky enough. They did not expect that now, another earth-moving centipede had arrived. Now, the two of them could only rely on their seniors. Why are you two so afraid? Wasn't this centipede just a little big? Xiao Changtian looked at the two trembling figures and couldn't help but laugh. These two people were too timid. Although this centipede was very big, it didn't have much attack power. Look at how scared they were. Before. Senior, we've never seen such a big one before. The white beast said with a trembling voice. All right, you two don't have to be so scared. Watch how I deal with this centipede. You can learn from me. What I'm going to teach you is more useful than my saber technique. Xiao Changtian looked at the two of them and shook his head. Then, Xiao Changtian walked toward the giant centipede. Damned mortals. He was actually so arrogant. Let's see if I don't poison you to death. The earth-shaking centipede didn't expect that this mortal would walk towards it without fear of death. It immediately stretched out its huge poisonous needle and tried to stab Xiao Changtian. However, something unexpected happened. Just as the giant poisonous needle was about to reach out from its head, Xiao Changtian cut it off with a slash. I didn't expect this centipede to be different from what I thought. However, this is also good. Poisonous centipedes are more useful in medicine. Xiao Changtian said with a smile. Impossible, how could this be? My poisonous needle. My poison needle. The earth-shifting centipede never expected that this mortal would be able to cut off its poisonous needles with one word, and effortlessly. This was simply impossible. At this moment, the earth-shaking centipede was so angry that its body trembled as it attacked Xiao Changtian. It didn't believe that this mortal could be lucky enough to cut off its poisonous needle and kill it. Yo, this thing still has a temper. Xiao Changtian looked at the centipede that was crawling over, and said in surprise, "You too, watch closely. Watch my movements carefully." Xiao Changtian turned around and shouted at the two of them. "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 780. Demonic Beast 1, Lorraine. We have to watch Senior's movements. The White Beast and the White Beast instantly became serious. Since their senior had said so, it meant that he had something important to give them. He took 2 steps forward and grabbed the earth-moving centipede's head. No way. That mortal. How could that mortal use such power? In the distance, the sky-shaking spider did not expect that the mortal who had been laughing at it just now would actually grab the head of the centipede in such a way. This was simply a fantasy. For a moment, the sky-shaking spider was stunned on the spot. This centipede is really big. Xiao Changtian, who was holding the centipede's head, couldn't help but sigh. This centipede was too big. He almost missed it. A warrior can be killed but not humiliated. This mortal. Why did this mortal have such great power? The earth-shaking centipede twisted its body, trying to get rid of Xiao Changtian. But no matter how hard it tried, it couldn't shake him off. "Aya, don't move." Xiao Changtian looked at the centipede that was shaking impatiently. Then he slapped the centipede's head. He had wanted to demonstrate it to the White Beast and Lorraine. But who knew that the centipede was so strong that it almost escaped from his grasp? Under this palm, the earth-moving centipede fainted before it could react. No. I'll leave quickly." In the distance, the sky-shaking spider did not expect that it had really kicked an iron plate this time. That person was not an ordinary person at all. Which ordinary person could knock out the earth-shaking centipede with a single slap? Trying to run? Xiao Changtian naturally noticed the sky-shaking spider's movement. Seeing the sky-shaking spider preparing to escape, Xiao Changtian quickly walked towards it. "The two of you watch carefully. Don't be distracted." Xiao Changtian looked at the sky-shaking spider that was trying to escape, and slapped its acupuncture point. Ah! The sky-shaking spider that was slapped by Xiao Changtian immediately jumped up in shock. For some reason, when this person patted his body, he felt the spiritual qi in his body instantly surge, and the spiritual qi in his body quickly rushed to various parts of his body. How did the sky-shaking spider become so powerful in an instant? The White Beast and Lorraine, who were watching from afar, could not help but be surprised. This was because the two of them could clearly feel that the power displayed by the sky-shaking spider was even stronger than before. After the sky-shaking spider screamed, it could clearly feel the changes in its body. Ha, this person is a fool. He actually helped himself so much. At first, the sky-shaking spider thought that this person was going to slap it to death. It did not expect that not only did it not, but it also made its strength suddenly increase by a lot in an instant. "Human, I'll make you pay the price." Immediately, the sky-shaking spider was ready to fight. It wanted to kill Xiao Changtian with one strike. "Senior, be careful." Seeing the sky-shaking spider's actions, the two white beasts in the distance shouted. That sky-shaking spider was about to touch Senior, but Senior still didn't dodge. The two of them were filled with anxiety. However, before the sky-shaking spider could touch Xiao Changtian, it spat out a mouthful of blood. Then a loud bang was heard. The sky-shaking spider fell to the ground. The White Beast and Lorraine were shocked by what they saw. "Senior, what kind of cultivation technique is this? It was actually so powerful." "I understand. Senior brother. I've comprehended it." At this moment Lorraine, who was beside the White Beast, suddenly shouted happily. "I've comprehended it. Junior sister, I've also comprehended it." Lorraine wasn't the only one. The White Beast looked at the sky-shaking spider's corpse, and its face was filled with joy. Then, the two of them couldn't care less about Xiao Changtian, and quickly ran into the distance. This was because they could already feel the restlessness of the life source divine beasts in their bodies. If the life source divine beasts came out later and collided with the seniors, it would not be good. Sigh. 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 Xiao Changtian originally wanted to turn around and say something to the two people, but he didn't expect to see the two people running away. What happened? Wasn't it just a spider? Is there a need to be so scared? Xiao Changtian shook his head as he watched the two of them leave. He knew that these two people were afraid of animals, but they shouldn't be so scared that they would run away in such a hurry, right? However, Xiao Changtian remembered that the two of them were even afraid of the small animals in their own yard. For a moment they felt relieved. Don't tell me these two have some animal phobia? He had been counting on the two of them to help him hunt in the future, but now it seemed that there was no hope. Xiao Changtian shook his head. Xiao Changtian didn't think too much about it. After he was done, he left for his own courtyard. At this moment, in the distant forest, Junior sister, I really can't take it anymore. The white beast said anxiously to Lorraine. Senior brother, I can't take it anymore. At this moment, Lorraine's face was as red as the white beast's. Roar! Roar! Chirp chirp dash then. They heard a loud lion roar and a loud bird cry. The voices were none other than their spirit beasts, a huge white lion, and a huge green bird. Buyer! What's going on? The white beast asked anxiously, as it looked at the white tiger, that had instantly transformed into its original form. Just now, it was precisely because the white tiger in his body suddenly became agitated that he had no choice but to walk faster to avoid colliding with the senior. Chinger, what happened? Why are you suddenly so agitated? Lorraine, who was standing at the side, also asked her natal demonic beast, the green bird, in confusion. I seem to have awakened the white lion's roar. The huge white lion said in surprise in front of the white beast. What? White lion roar? When the white beast heard the news, its face instantly became extremely shocked. It was not because of anything else, but because the white lion's roar was a skill that only the life-bound demonic beasts of those who were at the level of the Saint Venerable could awaken. Now with his strength, his life-bound demonic beast had actually awakened this skill. It was simply unbelievable. Chinger, you actually awakened the Cyan Whirlwind Strike. Lorraine, who was standing at the side, also cried out in surprise. She did not expect that her life-bound demonic beast would awaken such a powerful move. Lorraine, you've really helped us a lot this time. If it weren't for Senior, my Bai and your Qing wouldn't have awakened such a powerful technique. The white beast said happily to Lorraine. That's right. We have to thank Senior properly. Senior has helped us a lot this time. Lorraine nodded in agreement. After that, the two of them interacted with their natal demonic beasts for a while before walking back. He had to tell their peak master this good news. Not only did he learn the saber technique of the senior, but he also made his own natal demonic beast break through. It was simply a great fortune for their myriad beasts peak. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 781. Just watch here. 1. At that moment, Xiao Changtian slowly walked to the stall with the spiders and centipedes that he had just killed. Boss, you're here again. What good stuff are you selling today? Before Chun Ming reached his stall, he saw that it was crowded with people. Don't be anxious. This thing probably won't taste very good today. Xiao Changtian walked over with a smile. Then, he took out the centipede and spider he had just caught. He originally wanted to grind this thing into powder to make medicine, but this thing was too big. If he really ground it into powder, it would take too much time. He might as well eat it directly. Although it didn't look very delicious, it was a great tonic. It's actually the sky-shaking spider and the earth-moving centipede today. Wow, the shop owner is really amazing. When everyone saw what Xiao Changtian had taken out, they all gasped in shock. Their faces were filled with disbelief. Young master, today, the stall actually displayed the sky-shaking spider and the earth-moving centipede. On the other side, Go Xiongqin immediately reported to Qin Shou. What is it? They could even use the sky-shaking spider and the earth-moving grand medians. Qin Shou was also surprised when he heard that. He did not expect that such a demonic beast was willing to be sold. Are they crazy? That's right. Not only that, but the price was also very low. Go Xiongqin said. Humph. So how if he could take out the sky-shaking spider and the earth-moving centipede? They're just struggling to survive. The current me is not the same as before. Qin Shou was only surprised for a moment before he laughed loudly. Young master, do you have any good ideas? Go Xiongqin didn't understand why young master was so happy all of a sudden. Their business had all been snatched away by beast taming peak. Why was young master still so happy? You're wrong, you're wrong. I have a good idea. Qin Shou laughed loudly and said, this young master has obtained a peerless cultivation technique. With this cultivation technique, let alone a beast taming peak. Even if there were 10 beast trainer peaks, I wouldn't put them in my eyes. Congratulations, young master. Could it be that Feng Ling brought it back from the master? Go Xiongqin was also very happy when he heard this. Wouldn't their 1,000 swords peak make a killing this time? If it wasn't for Feng Ling I'm afraid this cultivation technique wouldn't have been taken back. However, although Feng Ling didn't give it to me, she still brought me some value. Anyway, she's about to die, so there's no need to pay attention to her anymore. At the mention of Feng Ling Qin Shou's expression instantly darkened. That woman, forget it, he didn't care about her. This cultivation technique is a black bear. When the time comes for the 100-year competition, if you really go on stage, don't embarrass our 10,000 swords peak. Qin Shou handed the book, How to Raise Wild Beasts, to Go Xiongqin. Thank you, young master. Thank you, young master. Go Xiongqin didn't expect that the young master would let him study such a powerful cultivation method. He was really shocked. Sigh. I didn't let you take it. Just watch it here. Qin Shou quickly called out when he saw Go Xiongqin preparing to leave with the book. He still wanted to see this cultivation technique. How could he let this kid take it away so easily? All right then. Go Xiongqin turned back reluctantly, but it was a great kindness for him to let him see it. By then, Lorraine and the white beast had already returned to Beast Tamer Peak. Father! Master! Father! I have good news for you. Lorraine walked to the side of the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak and said happily, Master, we've also gained a lot this time. The white beast said excitedly. Tell me slowly, slowly. There's no hurry. What's the good thing? At this moment, the peak master of Beast Taming Peak was also very happy. What good news did these two children bring back again? Father, we learned your saber technique from you. Lorraine said happily to the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak. That's right. Master, not only did you learn the saber technique, but our Bai and Luo Lan's Ling are also awakened skills that can only be used by sacred sovereigns. The white beast said excitedly. What is it? It's actually such a good thing. When the peak master of Beast Taming Peak heard the good news that came out of the two's mouths one after another, his mouth cracked so much that it almost reached his temples. Senior is really our Beast Taming Peak's benefactor. Where is Senior now? I want to thank him personally. The peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak asked the two of them happily. This time Senior had helped them a lot. With Senior's cultivation technique and the skill of his life-bound demonic beast, no matter what, they would be able to fight in the 100-year competition. Senior. It was over. We were so happy that we forgot about Senior. When they heard the words of the peak master of Beast Taming Peak, the smiles on their faces instantly froze. It was all because they were too excited about this matter that they forgot that Senior was still in the forest. These two damn children. Seeing the two of them say this, the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak sighed at the two of them in disappointment. This Senior had helped them so much, and these two children had just abandoned him and ran away. If he was a senior, wouldn't he scold them to death? Don't worry about it. The two of you, hurry up and follow me to apologize to the senior. After saying that, the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak brought the two of them and dashed towards Xiao Changshan's courtyard without hesitation. At this moment, Xiao Changtian had already returned to his courtyard. Senior, are you at home? The peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak, along with the white beast and Luo Lan, stood in front of Xiao Changshan's courtyard and asked carefully, "Yo, Uncle Wanshou, why are you here?" Xiao Changtian, who was in the courtyard, looked at the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak and said in surprise, "Uncle Wanshou, don't just stand at the door, come in quickly." Looking at Uncle Wanshou at the door, Xiao Changtian smiled and called them into the house. "Senior, we've really let you down this time." As soon as he entered the courtyard, the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak immediately apologized to Xiao Changtian. "Uncle Wanshou, what do you mean?" Xiao Changtian was dumbfounded by Uncle Wanshou's actions. "Senior, my two children have caused you trouble today. I want to apologize to you," Uncle Wanshou said respectfully to Xiao Changtian. Uncle Wanshou, I thought something was wrong." Hearing Uncle Wanshou's words, Xiao Changtian instantly understood. So Uncle Wanshou was talking about what happened just now. He did not take it to heart at all. "Although I don't mind, Uncle Wanshou, you have to train them well." Xiao Changtian couldn't help but say. The two of them were afraid to escape, just by seeing a huge spider. If they encountered a beast that was even more terrifying than that huge spider in the future, that would not be a solution. "All right, Senior. All the beasts will definitely remember your teachings." Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak immediately replied respectfully, "If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible." Chapter 782, Happy Sword 1. Inside the Imperial Beast Peak. "Lanner, Shower, you heard what Senior said earlier, right?" The peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak looked at the two of them with a serious expression. "Father Master, we all heard it." The white beast and Lorraine nodded in unison. Senior must think that the two of them were too weak, so he wanted to beat them up. Therefore, from today onwards until the 100-year competition, the two of you can't slack off in your cultivation for even a moment. Since Senior has already said so, the two of you have to do it well. The peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak knew that if these two people didn't live up to their expectations, that Senior would definitely not be happy. For the next few days, the two of them had been practicing the saber techniques they had learned from their seniors in the Imperial Beast Peak, as well as the skills of their natal demon beasts. At that time in Star Town. So what if your Imperial Beast Peak is powerful? Now that we've obtained a peerless cultivation technique, you'll just have to wait and see. At this moment, at Xiao Changshan's stall, Go Xiongqin said arrogantly. Xiao Changtian didn't put this person in his eyes at all. He had been focusing on what was in front of him. Xiao Changtian didn't expect that this person would be so forgetful. He had already been beaten up once last time, and he still dared to come this time. "Hey, did you hear what I said?" Go Xiongqin was furious when he saw that this person didn't put him in his eyes. "What's wrong? Did I not hurt you last time?" Xiao Changtian looked up at the arrogant Qin Xiong and said coldly. Xiao Changtian hated this kind of person who looked for trouble the most. This person had been beaten away last time. He didn't expect that he would dare to come again this time. He really remembered to eat but not to beat. "You." Hearing Xiao Changshan's words, Go Xiongqin's face turned red instantly. The last time he was beaten down in public was still vivid in his mind. Xiao Changshan's words reminded Go Xiongqin of something. "What about me? Do you want to be beaten again?" Xiao Changtian snorted in disdain. Such a person should be beaten a few more times. You guys are simply too arrogant. Humph. Just you wait. When the time comes for the 100-year competition, you guys will have a good time. Finally, Go Xiongqin shouted at Xiao Changtian. Then he left with his men. "It's really baffling and makes me speechless." Xiao Changtian looked at his back and rolled his eyes in disdain. "But what kind of competition is this 100-year competition? I'll ask Ling or when we get back," Xiao Changtian muttered. After all, she has lived here for so many years. She should know a lot about these things. Not long after, Xiao Changtian returned to his courtyard. "Ling Heir, so you're here." Xiao Changtian searched for a while, and finally found Feng Linger in a corner. "Ahaha, Senior, is there something you need from me?" Looking at Xiao Changtian, Feng Linger said with a smile. Although she had awakened the glazed body, which was helpful in raising these beasts, she was still afraid of the beasts in Xiao Changshan's courtyard. After all, even the Pai Xiao that was so cute at the beginning was so terrifying. Feng Linger didn't dare to imagine if she really did something wrong, and the demon beasts here would eat her. Therefore, every time Xiao Changtian left the courtyard, Feng Linger would always find a corner that was not easy to find and hide. It's nothing much. I just wanted to ask if you know anything about the 100-year competition. Xiao Changtian asked Feng Linger with a smile. If Feng Linger didn't know, then forget it. Anyway, he was just curious. Feng Linger instantly became nervous when she heard the senior's words. What does senior mean by asking this? Could it be that he wanted to help them complete the 100-year competition? Or did he find out that he had given the cultivation technique to the Thousand Swords Peak? For a moment, countless possibilities flashed through Feng Linger's mind. She didn't understand what senior meant by asking this. Haha, senior, you mean the 100-year tournament? It's the competition in the Starry Sky sect. Looking at Xiao Changtian, Feng Linger said with a laugh in order not to expose herself. So it's a competition between cultivators. Xiao Changtian nodded in realization. He originally thought that it was something interesting. Since it was the sex matter, he would not blindly interfere. Sigh, but Linger, if this 100-year competition is going to happen, will there be many people coming to watch? Just as Xiao Changtian was about to turn around, he suddenly turned around and asked. Of course, that is a competition that is held once every 100 years. Of course, people from all walks of life will be invited to watch. Feng Linger nodded at Xiao Changtian. Senior, why are you asking this? Then Feng Linger asked in confusion. Aya, if there are more people at that time, the passenger flow in Stars Town will definitely increase. It seemed like it was time to stock up on more beast meat. Xiao Changtian thought happily. Although his stall was usually crowded, the money he earned these days was far from enough. If there were more people, he would definitely be able to take the opportunity to make a big profit. Although Feng Linger didn't know what senior meant by this, she was on guard in her heart. We must go back and tell the Peak Master and the others about this. Feng Linger thought to herself. After Xiao Changtian left, Feng Linger turned into a stream of light and flew back to the Phoenix Peak. This woman is not simple. After Feng Linger left, the white tiger slowly stood up from the side and said, although she has a glass physique, she wanted to use that evil thing to harm Master last time. We should always be on guard against this woman. Black Tortoise chimed in. They originally thought that the woman that Senior had brought over had a glass physique and was kind-hearted. However, he did not expect that he would actually harm his master. This made the few divine beasts angry. Wait until that woman comes back to give Pixiu a good education. If this woman still dares to do this, then don't blame us for being impolite. The white tiger nodded and said, any existence that could threaten Master should not appear. At that moment inside Phoenix Peak, you said that the expert took the initiative to ask about the 100-year competition? The Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak looked at Feng Linger in surprise. That's right. That's right. Master. Senior seemed very happy when he mentioned this 100-year competition. Feng Linger briefly recounted what happened just now. Master, what do you think this expert means? Feng Linger looked at the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak and asked in confusion. Ha ha ha, Linger, don't you understand? Right at this moment, the figure of the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak walked out from the barrier behind the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak. This expert clearly wants to help us. At this moment, the smile on the face of the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak was extremely brilliant. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 783. We can make a big deal this time. 1. Isn't the meaning of this expert obvious enough? It's obvious that he wants us to cultivate that cultivation technique properly. There won't be any problems in this 100-year competition. Ever since the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak obtained that book, How to Raise Wild Beasts, his entire person became high-spirited. Looking at Feng Ling the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak laughed and said, Ling this is good news for us. That's right. Ling this is good news. The peak master of Phoenix Nest Peak also laughed loudly. It seemed that their 10,000 Swords Peak would definitely win this 100-year tournament. Feng Ling listened to the two of them and nodded happily. So this was what Senior meant. No wonder he asked her this. After bidding farewell to the two of them, Feng Ling happily returned to Xiao Changshan's courtyard. Bang! However, just as Feng Ling entered the room, Pai Xiu followed behind Feng Ling and closed the door. I'm a girl, Pai Xiu. Feng Ling was so frightened that she turned around instantly. Her face was pale as she looked at the cute Pai Xiu on the ground. You woman! What were you doing just now? Pai Xiu looked at Feng Ling and asked without any politeness. I had some private matters just now. Feng Ling's eyes turned black just by looking at Pai Xiu. Personal matters? Huh? Pai Xiu looked at Feng Ling coldly with disdain. Really, I'm really going to do something private. Feng Ling was so nervous that she couldn't even speak coherently. He looked at Pai Xiu with a face full of fear. You'd better tell me the truth. You have to know that even if I let you off, those people outside won't. Pai Xiu said to Feng Ling coldly. Ling are you in the room? At this moment, Xiao Changshan's voice came from outside the door. I'll let you off today, but you better be careful in the future. Pai Xiu also heard Xiao Changshan's voice. He glared at Feng Ling and ran away. Senior, I'm in my room. Seeing Pai Xiu finally leave, Feng Ling instantly heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Senior arrived in time. Otherwise, he would really be finished. Then he'll come in. Then, Xiao Changtian pushed the door open and walked in. Senior, is there something you need from me? Feng Ling looked at Xiao Changtian happily. Ling I just wanted to tell you that when the 100-year competition comes, the stall will definitely not have enough people. At that time, I want you to help. Xiao Changtian smiled at Feng Ling. He had just received the news that the White Beast and Lorraine were busy for a few days, and Xiao Changtian would definitely be too busy to handle them. Senior, is this what you mean when you say that the system is the system? Of course, there was no problem. Feng Ling replied without thinking. She would have agreed to this matter without discussing it with him. She did not want to stay alone in this small courtyard at all. Just like that, the people of the Starry Sky sect worked hard on their cultivation. The 100-year competition was gradually approaching. Half a month later. Today was the first day of the 100-year competition. Even the town has become lively. That's right. I wonder which summit of the Starry Sky sect will emerge victorious in this 100-year competition? In Starry Town, many people were discussing this major event of Starry sect. And this 100-year competition had made Stardust Town even more lively than it had ever been. At this moment, within the Myriad Swords Peak, Shower, there won't be any problems with this competition, right? The peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak looked at the high-spirited Qin Shou in front of him and asked with a smile. This son of his really had his own style. Don't worry, father, after half a month of studying that cultivation technique, I have completely studied it. Qin Shou laughed loudly. Wait until the competition begins. Father, just wait and see. At this moment, Qin Shou was 100% confident that he could defeat that Imperial Beast Peak. Therefore, he looked at the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak with confidence. My son is good. The peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak nodded his head in satisfaction. Peak master, we've already checked. This time, only Taoist Master Wanshou and the few people from Beast Trainer Peak came. At this moment, a cultivator suddenly came in to report. Ha. This is really the blessing of the heavens on our 10,000 Swords Peak. Even if the Imperial Beast Peak had fawned over an expert in the beginning. So what? Wasn't it still intercepted by our 10,000 Swords Peak? Hearing this news, the peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak laughed even more wildly. This time, even if the heavens came, no one would be able to save the Imperial Beast Peak. This time, the Imperial Beast Peak was completely doomed. Qin Shou frowned and pondered upon hearing the cultivator's words. How could this Feng Ling be a real person? Didn't Feng Linger die soon after she drank the potion and had sex with that expert? What was going on? Yesterday, he received news that Feng Linger was still alive and kicking. For a moment, Qin Shou could not help but think absent-mindedly as he looked at the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak. Shower, what are you thinking? Just as Qin Shou was in a daze, the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak could not help but shout. I think this young master must be too happy. Uncle Qin, who was standing at the side, also said happily. After the 10,000 Swords Peak won the competition, he would also benefit from it. Thinking about his future life, even Uncle Qin couldn't help but laugh. Shower, don't be so happy yet. We'll have a good time at the celebration banquet after this. The peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak laughed loudly. Not only did he invite many sects to participate, but he also invited them to stay behind to attend their Myriad Swords Peak celebration banquet. That was because the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak was 100% confident that Beast Trainer Peak would not be able to withstand the attack of their 10,000 Swords Peak. At that time, the people of Beast Trainer Peak would just have to wait to enjoy the taste of being enslaved at the bottom of the Starry Sky sect. When the table was full, they could be happy to their heart's content. At the same time, the Imperial Beast Peak was deserted. Beast Erlana, are you two ready? Looking at the two people in front of him, the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak asked. Don't worry, Master. Don't worry, Father. Master, in this half a month, we have completely comprehended Senior's casual technique. That's right. Father, these few days, my Qing and I have become more and more well coordinated. My Qing can now easily release the Cyan Whirlwind Strike. The two of them looked at the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak and said with confidence, although you've all learned Senior Saber technique and are almost familiar with your life source divine beasts, this competition is very important. You must not let your guard down. The peak master of Imperial Beast Peak had a solemn expression on his face, but his eyes were filled with determination as he looked at the two of them. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 784. Before the competition begins, 1. At this moment, Xiao Changshan's stall was bustling with people. There are indeed as many people as I thought. Xiao Changtian nodded and said as he looked at the crowd in front of his stall. This time, he would definitely be able to make a good profit. Sai, eldest senior brother, this place is really interesting. There's actually someone with the glazed physique. Not far from Xiao Changshan's stall, a few figures stood there. One of the young cultivators said with an evil smile, Kuang Shan, now is not the time for you to enjoy your life. The man at the side glanced at him and said. The man next to Kuang Shan was dressed in a black robe. He was also very handsome. The women who passed by would undoubtedly turn their heads to look at him. Eldest senior brother, I just saw the glazed physique. I can go back and let master enjoy it, right? Kuang Shan looked at the man in front of him and laughed. We have to get down to business now. Let's hurry up and go to the Starry Sky sect. The man didn't pay any attention to Kuang Shan. He merely cast a glance at him expressionlessly and walked toward the Starry sect. These people were none other than people from another sect that the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak had invited over. This sect was called the Fierce Gale sect. Although the strength of this Fierce Gale sect was inferior to that of the Stellar sect, it had a certain status in the Jade Lake Sacred World. At this moment, the crowd had filled up the entire open space in the open-air square of the Starry Sky sect. A middle-aged man stood on the platform in the square. Just looking at him gave off an extremely powerful aura that made people tremble. The sect master of the Starry Sky sect has come out. As expected of Glory sect's strength. Just by standing there, I could feel the terrifying power. That's right. As expected of the sect master of the Starry Sky sect. Not only were there sects that were on good terms with Wanjian Peak invited by Wanjian, but there were also more sects invited by the Starry sect, and there were also a few sects that were here to cheer for Beast Taming Peak. Although there were many who came to cheer for Feng Qifeng, they all knew that Feng Kaifeng's strength was not strong, and he was completely relying on Wan Jianfeng. It was estimated that after the 10,000 Swords Peak won this competition, the Phoenix Perch Peak would probably completely belong to the 10,000 Swords Peak. Yo, Martial Nephew Wulong. Good boy. It's been a long time since we last met. Your strength has improved quite a bit. After seeing the man in town just now, the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak ran over excitedly and greeted him. I wonder how the crazy sect master's health is recently. Even though the 10,000 Swords Peak's master had warmly received those people from the sects earlier, he did not treat those sects as intimately as he treated the whole Gale sect. Ha ha ha, thank you for the 1,000 Swords Peak master's mental connection. Master's body has been very good recently, and there are faint signs of him breaking through. The man called Wulong smiled and said to the 10,000 Swords Peak master. This Wulong was the eldest disciple of the whole Gale sect, and his status in the sect was extremely high. At such a young age, he had already reached the great Saint Master realm, and his future was limitless. Thus, when he saw this group of people, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak hurried over to greet them. Oh right, 10,000 Swords Peak Master. I heard that your 10,000 Swords Peak is confident of winning this time. Is that true? Looking at the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak, Wulong could not help but ask again. That's right, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak. You said that you would definitely win in this 100-year competition. At that time, don't forget about us. Just as Wulong finished speaking, the people from the other sects at the side echoed. Ha ha ha, everyone please rest assured. This time, my 10,000 Swords Peak has the help of an expert. We will definitely take the first place. No one can snatch it from my 10,000 Swords Peak. When the time comes, don't leave. Stay here for the celebration party. The Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak looked at the surrounding people and laughed wildly. The Peak Master of the Myriad Swords Peak looked at Taoist Master Wansho in the distance, and he could not help but feel smug. Although he had wanted Uncle Qin to surround Wansho previously, the Peak Master of the Myriad Swords Peak had changed his mind before Uncle Qin could leave, because he didn't want Wansho to die so simply without a sound. He wanted Wansho to lose all his face in front of everyone. At that time, he would openly humiliate Wansho. Thinking about this scene, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak couldn't help but laugh out loud. He wanted to defeat the Imperial Beast Peak in this competition, and then trample the Imperial Beast Peak under his feet forever. Since the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak said so, I can rest assured. Wulong smiled and nodded. That's right. Since the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords has said so, we can only wait for the good news from the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords. At this moment, many people surrounding the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak said cheerfully, as long as the 10,000 Swords Peak won the 100-year competition, wouldn't the sects that were on good terms with the 10,000 Swords Peak be able to get close to the entire Starry Sky sect in the future? One had to know that the Starry Sky sect was one of the few large sects in the entire Jade Lake sacred world. If they could be connected to such a large sect, it would be considered a virtue they had accumulated in their previous lives. Compared to the bustling scene at the 10,000 Swords Peak Master's side, the Imperial Beast Peak was extremely deserted. Actually, as long as you do your best in this competition, it will be fine. Looking at the Peak Master of Beast Taming Peak, the cultivator at the side patted the shoulder of the Peak Master of Beast Taming Peak and said, this cultivator was one of the few sects that had come to support the Imperial Beast Peak. Instead of saying that they were helping, it was better to say that they were here to see how the 1,000 Swords Peak would win. This was because everyone in the outside world knew about the strength of the Imperial Beast Peak. In such a short time, the Imperial Beast Peak could not surpass the 10,000 Swords Peak at all. Master, with Senior's guidance, we definitely won't lose. The White Beast looked at Taoist Wansho and said with a firm expression, that's right. Father, with the guidance of the Senior, how can we lose? Lorraine chimed in. After they had mastered Xiao Changshan's casual technique, they were completely different. Moreover, their Their cultivation showed signs of a breakthrough. Coupled with the skills of their intrinsic immortal beasts, Qin Shou was no match for them. Some people don't even look in the mirror and see what kind of person they are. They still want to win against 10,000 Swords Peak? It's simply ridiculous. After the white beast finished talking to Lorraine, someone nearby mocked. The senior guides the senior. The senior guides the senior. The senior guides the senior. The senior guides the senior guides the senior guides the senior guides the senior guides. The senior guides 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 the senior guides. The senior guides 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 the senior. The people at the side looked at the people from the Imperial Beast Peak and said more and more disdainfully, and the sound was getting louder and louder. That's right. This time, the 1,000 Sword Peak will definitely win. If I were a member of the Beast Taming Peak, I would be too embarrassed to come out and participate in this competition. More and more people followed suit, because in their eyes, there was no suspense in the outcome of this match. Wan Jianfeng would definitely win. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 785. The First Battle 1. You guys! The white beast could not stand it anymore. The competition had not even started yet, and these people were already so arrogant. They really did not put their beast taming peak in their eyes at all. White beast, don't get agitated. Taoist Wanshou immediately stopped the white beast when he saw its angry expression. Now is not the time to cause trouble. Ignore these people for now. Looking at that person, the peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak said to the white beast in a deep voice. Don't worry, master. This time no matter how I will try my best to win this game. The white beast said with a determined expression. These people were simply bullying others. They were bullying their beast trainer peak for not having any strength. Little did they know that their beast trainer peak had an expert's guidance this time. Those people looked at the people from Imperial Beast Peak and curled their lips in disdain. Ho didn't bother with them anymore. Anyway, there was nothing worth wasting their time on this death peak. Alright everyone, quiet down. At this moment, the loud voice of the sect master of Starry Sky Sect, who was standing on the high platform in the distance, rang in everyone's ears. First of all, welcome to the 100-year competition of our Starry Sky Sect. In this 100-year competition, I will choose the most powerful peak among the 3 peaks. The peak master will be the next sect master of the Starry Sky Sect. The sect master of Starry Sky Sect said to everyone with a smile. Ha ha ha, peak master of 10,000 swords. I'll congratulate you on becoming the next sect master of Starry Sky Sect. When the sect leader of the Starry Sky Sect finished speaking, many people beside the peak master of the 10,000 swords peak laughed and echoed. No, thank you for your praise. The peak master of 10,000 swords peak replied humbly. In any case, the position of the sect master was in his hands. Next, I will announce the rules of the competition. At this moment, the sect master of the Starry Sky Sect continued to speak. In this competition, the 3 peaks will send out their members to fight by drawing lots. They will also use an elimination system. Whichever peak's member can last until the end, the peak master who wins in the end will become the next sect master of the Starry Sky Sect. The sect leader of the Starry Sky sect briefly explained the rules of the 100-year competition. Do you have any questions? Sect Master, I have it. Just as the sect master of Stellar Sect finished speaking, the voice of the Peak Master of Phoenix Perch Peak rang out. Oh, Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master, do you have any questions? The sect master of Starry Sky sect had already guessed what the Peak Master of Phoenix Perch Peak was thinking. Before he went into seclusion, he had already heard rumors about the relationship between Phoenix Perch Peak and 10,000 Swords Peak. Our Phoenix Perch Peak wants to give up on this competition. The Peak Master of Phoenix Peak looked at the sect master of Starry Sky sect and said without hesitation. The sect leader of the Starry Sky sect nodded. He did not expect the rumor about the two peaks to be true. Phoenix Perch Peak? Have you really decided to give up? The Grand Master of the Starry Sky sect asked again. Yes, Sect Master, our Phoenix Perch Peak will give up this competition. The Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak replied once again. This was because the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak had promised her. After this competition, Wan Jian would be the Sect Master of Stellar Sect, and she would be the wife of the Sect Master of Stellar Sect. At that time, she would also be in a good position. There was no need to waste resources at this time. Phoenix Perch Peak is still the wisest. That's right, that's right. They're not like that Imperial Beast Peak. They're already on the verge of death, but they still don't give up. I think that Imperial Beast Peak will definitely lose miserably. When the Phoenix Peak's Peak Master finished speaking, the surrounding people praised her for her wise decision. At the same time, they did not forget to belittle the people of the Imperial Beast Peak. Since you've already decided, I won't force you. The sect master of the Starry Sky sect nodded at the Peak Master of the Phoenix Peak. The sect master of the Starry Sky sect was from the 10,000 Swords Peak, so he was very optimistic about the 10,000 Swords Peak in this competition. Therefore, he naturally wouldn't reject Feng Qafeng's suggestion. If that's the case, then the rules of this competition will have to be changed. The Grand Master of the Starry Sky sect pondered for a moment and said, then from now on Imperial Beast Peak and 10,000 Swords Peak will adopt a best-of-3 system. The first 2 rounds are 1-on-1, and the last round is 2-on-2. Is this rule okay for the two of you? The sect master of Starry Sky sect had made ample preparations for this competition. No matter what the rules were, it would not be a problem for the two peaks. Our 10,000 Swords Peak will have no problem. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak replied loudly. There's no problem with our Imperial Beast Peak. Taoist Wanshou also replied. Alright, since that's the case, you two peaks get ready. We'll start in a while. Seeing that no one had any questions, the sect master of Starry Sky sect nodded in satisfaction. Wan Jian, I heard that you have great confidence in this competition. After the sect master of the Starry Sky sect finished speaking, he walked to the side of the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak and asked, Sect Master, this time, Wan Jian received guidance from an expert. This competition is 90% certain. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak immediately replied, Ha ha ha, when the time comes, this sect master will see your performance. Don't worry, this sect master will stand on the side of the 10,000 Swords Peak this time. The sect leader of the Starry Sky sect was from the 1,000 Swords Peak, and had a strong kinship with the 1,000 Swords Peak. Therefore, the sect leader of the Starry Sky sect would help the 1,000 Swords Peak secretly in this competition. Wan Jian thanks Sect Master here. How could the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak not know what the Sect Master meant? Hence, he immediately agreed happily. At this moment, the 10,000 Swords Peak had gathered everyone's expectations. At this moment in Star Town, without the help of the White Beast and Lorraine, I really can't handle it. Although the number of people at the stall had gradually decreased, it was still packed. Senior, do you want to rest for a while? Feng Linger asked with concern. Feng Linger did not know why the senior was so powerful, but he still had to work so hard to run this stall. Was this the interest of a powerful person? It's fine. I can still make more money in these 2 days. Xiao Changtian murmured. This morning's profit was 3 times more than the previous day. How could Xiao Changtian give up this opportunity so easily? At that time, in the Starry Sky sect, there was an uproar. Since both sides are ready, let's begin. After the sect master of the Starry Sky sect finished speaking to the peak master of the 10,000 Swords Peak, he returned to the high platform and said loudly, "Father, let me go first." Lorraine stood up and said to the peak master of Beast Taming Peak, "Good job, Lan'er. You must be careful." Taoist Wancho nodded and said, although he knew that even the sect master was biased towards Constellation, their Imperial Beast Peak would not give up on this competition. Sure, since the Imperial Beast Peak sent that Luolan out, then well, let Black Bear Qin go. The peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak looked at Lorraine, who was walking up the stage, and said disdainfully, "Peak master, I promised to complete the mission." Qin immediately stood up and said, after reading that cultivation technique, he was confident in this competition. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 786. Qin the Great Dog loses 1. The first match, Royal Beast Peaks Luolan vs 10,000 Sword Peaks Qin Goxiong. With an order, the two of them stood on the huge stage in the middle. "Lorraine, I can't bear to bully you when I see you as a little girl." Haha. Goxiong Qin laughed at Lorraine as soon as he came up. "If you surrender, I can consider letting you go. If you don't, haha, then don't blame me for being rude." Goxiong Qin said to Lorraine bluntly, "Black Bear Qin, why don't you think about your own capabilities? Do you really think you are very powerful? You want me to surrender? Dream on." Lorraine said disdainfully to Goxiong Qin. "Ha ha ha, good job. You said it yourself. Don't blame me for being merciless later." Hearing Lorraine's words, Goxiong Qin laughed disdainfully. At this moment, Lorraine was just a clown in his eyes. Since he had cultivated that peerless cultivation technique, Lorraine would definitely be trampled under his feet. Both sides are ready. The competition begins. The referee looked at the two of them and shouted before quickly leaving the arena. Boom! The moment the referee finished speaking, Goxiong Qin instantly released his pressure. In an instant, the entire arena was enveloped by Goxiong Qin's terrifying aura. As expected of someone from the 10,000 Swords Peak. Just in terms of aura, the Imperial Beast Peak can't compare. Yes, Wang Jianfeng will definitely win this match. The audience watched this scene as if they were watching a joke. Swoosh dash compared to the aura released by Bear Qin in an instant, Lorraine's side was much calmer. Lorraine only quickly pulled out the saber in her hand. Although the broadsword in Luo Lan's hand was not obtained from Xiao Changtian, it was similar to Xiao Changshan's broadsword. Ha ha ha, you want to deal with me with a broken saber? You really overestimate yourself. When Goxiong Qin saw Lorraine's actions, he couldn't help but laugh wildly. Take it and try it. Lorraine didn't pay attention to the mockery. Lorraine tapped the ground with the tip of her toes, and her body turned into a bolt of lightning as she rushed towards Goxiong Qin. Before everyone could see Lorraine's movements clearly, they saw that Lorraine had already arrived in front of Bear Qin. However, Lorraine, who had already flown in front of Bear Qin, didn't hesitate. She quickly waved the big knife in her hand and slashed at Bear Qin. Bang! Goxiong Qin didn't expect Lorraine to be so fast. At that moment his heart trembled. If he hadn't reacted in time, he would have been struck by Lorraine. After Lorraine had awakened the 100 Bird's body, not only had her cultivation improved, but her speed had also become extraordinarily fast. Ordinary cultivators would not be able to see her movements with their naked eyes. Bang! Bang! However, before Goxiong Qin could react, Lorraine came to his side again. Without hesitation, she used the casual method she learned from Xiao Changtian. What happened? Why was she getting more and more powerless? Under Lorraine's attacks, Goxiong Qin seemed to be getting weaker and weaker. Clang! Lorraine directly chopped off the sword in Goxiong Qin's hand. Bang! The moment the sword fell from his hand, Lorraine's palm landed on his chest. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Goxiong Qin was instantly sent flying and smashed into the ground in the distance. In an instant, a human-shaped pit was formed on the ground. How? What's going on? Am I seeing things? What happened just now? Looking at this scene, everyone was dumbfounded. What was going on? How could the people of the Thousand Swords Peak be defeated by the people of the Imperial Beast Peak? Moreover, it had only been a short 3 minutes. What happened? Upon seeing this scene, Qin Shou, who was seated on the high platform in the distance, instantly stood up. He looked at the situation in the arena with a solemn expression. Cough, cough, dash. In the huge human-shaped pit, Go Xiongqin wanted to stand up, but he couldn't muster any strength, as if a truck had run over him. He could clearly feel that at least 3 or 4 of his ribs were broken. He wanted to fight back just now, but he didn't know what kind of saber technique that damned Lorraine used. He actually didn't have the slightest bit of strength to fight back under that saber technique. Although his saber technique was not the most exquisite, it was indeed ranked among the top in the 10,000 Swords Peak. However, he did not know where Lorraine had learned such a vicious saber technique. Referee, I think I won this round, right? Lorraine looked at the stunned crowd and said to the referee in the distance. Impossible. How can you beat Black Bear Qin? However, after Lorraine finished speaking, Qin Shou, who was standing on the high platform, immediately stood up and questioned loudly. That's right. That's impossible. That's right. How could the people from Beast Taming Peak win? After the people present heard Qin Shou's question, they also shouted loudly. They would rather believe that this Luo Lan had used some kind of Yao art than believe that Beast Control Peak had won against 10,000 Swords Peak. Looking at Lorraine, who was standing on the stage, the sect leader of the Starry Sky sect frowned and thought about something. At this moment, the face of the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak was also ashen. He did not expect the start to be so unfavorable. This damn Imperial Beast Peak. You don't believe me? Then what do you want? Lorraine did not panic when she saw this scene. Instead, she asked calmly. Go Xiongqin is someone who cultivated that cultivation method. How could he lose to you? Lorraine, you're just a little girl. I'm afraid it's not appropriate for you to really use Yao arts. Qin Shou questioned Lorraine loudly. Ha ha ha, what a joke. Since when did our Imperial Beast Peak become someone you can slander? The White Beast retorted rudely. Alright, stop arguing. The sect master of Starry Sky sect looked at the situation on both sides and immediately stopped them. Sect master, look this. How should I judge? Looking at this scene, the referee did not know what to do. In that case, let's call this a draw. The Grand Master of Starry Sky sect rubbed his temples and said. He was obviously siding with the Thousand Swords Peak. Sect Master, you. Master Wanshou had not expected that their sect master would make such a decision without any reason. For a moment, Master Wanshou looked at the sect master of the Starry Sky sect with a face full of anger. How is it? Taoist Master Wanshou, do you want to go against me? Seeing Master Wanshou's furious expression, the sect master of the Starry Sky sect immediately questioned loudly. Master, don't be angry and ruin your health. The White Beast looked at Taoist Master Wanshou, who was panting heavily, and immediately said, if you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 787, Second Competition 1. Father, don't be angry. Your health is more important. Feng Linger said worriedly, as she looked at the Beast Control Peak's Peak Master's appearance. This 10,000 Swords Peak and their sect leader were really despicable. They actually used such a method. Were they not afraid of being laughed at by everyone? Although many of the sects present had seen it and scoffed at the actions of the sect leader of the Starry Sky sect, most of the sects were on the side of the Thousand Swords Peak this time. Therefore, they did not feel that what the sect leader of the Starry Sky sect had said was inappropriate. Alright then, for the first round, 10,000 Swords Peak and Imperial Beast Peak are tied. The referee shouted, and the first match came to an end. Father, are you alright? Feng Linger returned to the side of the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak, and couldn't help but ask as she looked at the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak, who was coughing non-stop. Linger, father is fine. You did very well this time. Don't worry. The peak master of the Imperial Beast Peak consoled Feng Ling. Master, don't worry. I'll definitely defeat them and make them speechless. The white beast looked at the two of them and said firmly, this Wan Jianfeng actually dared to treat them like this. Then don't blame them for being merciless. On the other side, the peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak and the others looked at Go Xiongqin, who was being dragged down with serious expressions. What happened? Didn't Go Xiongqin cultivate that technique? How could he be injured like this by that Lorraine? The peak master of 10,000 Swords Peak looked at Qin Shou and asked with a puzzled expression. Logically speaking, the ones who should be dragged down should be the people from Beast Taming Peak. Father, I don't know what's going on either. I watched Black Bear Qin cultivate that technique. Qin Shou also shook his head in confusion. He also did not know what exactly was going on. Right, father? Could it be that the expert had helped Beast Trainer Peak? Suddenly, Qin Shou thought of something and immediately said, how is that possible? The expert has already given us this cultivation technique. Moreover, he even personally asked us about the competition the last time. How can he help this Beast Taming Peak? Moreover, what expert is worth helping in this Beast Taming Peak? The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak immediately rejected Qin Shou's words. Because in his eyes, Xiao Changtian was already a member of their 10,000 Swords Peak. This Imperial Beast Peak was not worthy of the guidance of an expert. Don't worry about that. I didn't expect the first round to be so difficult. Shou'er, don't make any mistakes in the next round. Looking at Qin Shou, the Peak Master of the 10,000 Sword Peak warned once more. Father, don't worry about me. Right now no one in the Imperial Beast Peak is my match. Qin Shou glanced at the Beast Taming Peak in the distance and said disdainfully, just now Black Bear Qin was just a simple accident. How could such an accident not happen to him? He was 100% sure that he could win against this Beast Tamer Peak. The second round of the competition is about to begin. May the participants from Imperial Beast Peak and Wanjian Peak please come up. Not long after, the referee's voice sounded again. Ha ha ha, White Beast, how should I put it? The Starry Sky sect will definitely belong to our 10,000 Swords Peak in the future. Just wait to be enslaved by us. As soon as he got on the stage, Qin Shou provoked the White Beast. What's wrong? Do you want to end up like Go Xiongqin? The White Beast looked at Qin Shou with disdain. The White Beast did not like Qin Shou at all. He was just a clown. In a while he would definitely teach this Qin Shou a lesson. How bold! Qin Shou was instantly enraged by the White Beast's words. Cut the crap, let's begin. Immediately, Qin Shou could not help but take out the long sword in his hand. As the son of the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master, Qin Shou was most skilled in sword arts. Previously, Qin Shou's sword arts were one of the best in the Myriad Swords Peak. After studying that cultivation method, his sword arts had become much more exquisite. Now, not to mention the Starry Sky sect, even among the sects present, no one could compare to his sword technique. Alright, let the competition begin. Thus, the referee gave the order, and the second match began. The White Beast instantly took out the saber that he had prepared. Ha ha ha, Lorraine was holding a crappy saber in the last match. I didn't expect this White Beast to be holding a crappy saber in this match as well. It doesn't even have a decent weapon. I think Beast Trainer Peak is completely finished. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak looked at the situation on the field with a mocking expression. This Imperial Beast Peak was not qualified to compete with their 10,000 Swords Peak at all. Clang! Clang! Qin Shou did not hesitate. He quickly kicked the ground with the tip of his toes, picked up his sword, and slashed fiercely at the White Beast. The moment Qin Shou exerted his strength, the entire ground trembled slightly because of the terrifying aura that Qin Shou emitted. The people on the side of the arena were also incomparably shocked. Dang dang dash, however, just as Qin Shou was about to stab the White Beast's heart, he was suddenly deflected by the White Beast's blade. The White Beast's unexpected saber technique instantly struck Qin Shou's vital point, forcing him to retreat repeatedly. What's wrong with this White Beast? What kind of sword technique was this? Not a single slash landed in a place I didn't expect. Qin Shou, who had been forced back by the White Beast, thought to himself unwillingly. What was going on with this Imperial Beast Peak today? At this moment, not only was Qin Shou's expression solemn, even the Stellar Sect Master was looking at the scene before him with a solemn expression. Why is this kid's saber technique so familiar? Looking at the white beast brandishing its saber, the sect master of Starry Sky Sect frowned even more deeply. Ah, you can force me to be a great person. Qin Shou, who had been forced to retreat by the white beast's casual method, finally could not help but roar. Immediately after, a terrifying pressure was released from his entire body. The longsword in Qin Shou's hand instantly emitted a dazzling light. I'll let you try my 10,000 sword slash. Qin Shou raised his sword and slashed at the white beast once again. This attack wasn't just a sword technique, it was an attack infused with spiritual energy. Qin Shou's strength was already a step away from breaking through to the Great Saint Master realm, so he didn't believe that the white beast could take this attack. Small tricks. The white beast muttered with a calm expression in the face of Qin Shou's actions, because he was confident that even if this Qin Shou was mixed with spiritual power, he would be able to break through it by learning the casual technique of the senior. When Qin Shou quickly brandished the sword in his hand in front of the white beast, every sword strike was aimed at the vital points of the white beast, showing no mercy. Furthermore, there was no rule in this competition that stated that one couldn't kill the white beast. Qin Shou had already decided that he would kill the white beast accidentally this time. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know. Report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 788. Qin Shou loses one. Bang. Bang. However, just when Qin Shou thought that the white beast would not be able to block his sword, the saber in the white beast's hand became more and more strange. It was precisely because the white beast's saber technique was different from the previous one that Qin Shou, who had used his spiritual power, was gradually at a disadvantage. What happened? Why was the sword technique of this person from Imperial Beast Peak so strange? That's right. Qin Shou's condition didn't seem right. At this moment, the people below the stage could not help but say when they saw this scene, how is this possible? Qin Shou was the son of the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master, and his sword art was personally taught by the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master. Furthermore, the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master had even said that they had an expert who wanted to help them in this competition. This Qin Shou shouldn't be in such a state. What happened to Shou'er? Why does it look like the situation isn't right? At this moment, even the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak could not help but frown and ask, Peak Master, perhaps young master is preparing some big move? Uncle Qin consoled as he watched the scene unfold. Bang! However, the next second, Uncle Qin was slapped in the face. Because at this moment, the white beast had slashed at Qin Shou's shoulder with its saber. Qin Shou's clothes were instantly dyed red with blood. Damn it! You damn thing! You actually dared to hurt me! Qin Shou was completely enraged at this moment. His eyes were bloodshot as he looked at Bai. You're asking for trouble. The white beast wasn't afraid. Instead, it gripped the saber in its hand tightly. Bang! Bang! Just as Qin Shou was about to charge forward again, the white beast's saber slashed down mercilessly. Shou'er. At this moment, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak stood up abruptly and stared at the situation with wide eyes. Boom! At this moment, Qin Shou was blasted away by the white beast's saber. Qin Shou, who was sent flying, had no idea what had just happened. He only felt as if his body had been hit by a huge demonic beast. In the end, Qin Shou was smashed into the ground like Goxiong Qin. In an instant, a human-shaped pit was smashed into the ground again. PFFF. The blood in Qin Shou's mouth was like a fountain as it continuously spurted out. At this moment, Qin Shou felt as if his internal organs were being twisted together, causing him immense pain. Shou'er! Shou'er! The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak didn't hesitate, and appeared beside Qin Shou in an instant. What happened? Why? That's right. That was impossible. Even Qin Shou was defeated. Looking at this scene, everyone present was once again shocked. They could still accept that the previous round at Beast Trainer Peak was a coincidence, but this round was the same as before. Even if the people present wanted to explain anything for Wang Jianfeng, they could not. What's going on with this 10,000 Swords Peak? Why did you lose again? At this moment, many sects began to become restless. This was because they had come for the 10,000 Swords Peak this time, and they had 100% confidence in the 10,000 Swords Peak. Although the 10,000 Swords Peak did not completely lose this competition, they had been defeated twice. This made the sects who came for the 10,000 Swords Peak change their views on the 10,000 Swords Peak. Shower, how about you? At this moment, the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak looked at Qin Shou, who had fallen to the ground, and asked excitedly, "Someone come quickly. Save my shower." Cough, cough, father. Father, avenge me. At this moment, Qin Shou's vision had already turned black. After looking at the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak, he spat out these words with difficulty. Qin Shou did not expect that not only did he lose the sword technique, but he was also beaten to such a state. He could not accept it. Moreover, before he went on stage, he had vowed to defeat this white beast. He did not expect that he would end up like this. Damn it! People from Imperial Beast Peak, I'll make sure you die a horrible death. Looking at Qin Shou's current state, the face of the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master was filled with anger. He didn't dare to treat his precious son in such a way. Yet the people of Imperial Beast Peak dared to hurt Qin Shou to such an extent. At that moment, not only did the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak look unhappy, but even the Sect Master of Starry Sky Sect's expression darkened. Just now, he had helped Wang Jian Peak. However, Wang Jian Peak had lost again this time. Even if he wanted to help, the other sects present would not be willing. Moreover, if this matter was really spread out, it would have a great impact on him and the Starry Sky Sect. When the white beast saw Qin Shou's current appearance, he could not help but sigh in his heart. Senior's casual technique was simply divine. He could actually unleash such great power. Although the white beast's cultivation was on the same level as Qin Shou's, the white beast did not use much spiritual power to defeat Qin Shou this time. When it was over, he had to go back and thank Senior properly. Second round, Imperial Beast Peak wins. At this moment, the referee walked onto the stage to announce the results of the competition. Ha ha ha, Dad, just say that we learned Senior's casual method, saying that even that 10,000 Sword Peak is in our match. Feng Linger said happily beside the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak. After this competition is over, I must thank Senior properly. The Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak nodded and looked at Feng Linger. But I'm just afraid that Wang Jian will go crazy. This time, the white beast injured Qin Shou so badly. Wang Jian won't let our Imperial Beast Peak off so easily. Seeing the furious look on the face of the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak, Master Daoist Wancha's expression gradually turned solemn. Although he was afraid that Wang Jian would go crazy, if Wang Jian really wanted to attack the people of their Imperial Beast Peak, he would not let him off so easily. Peak Master, don't be too impulsive. The Sect Master is still watching from above. There are still so many sections. At this moment, Uncle Qin walked beside the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak and advised. Uncle Qin had thought that the young master would win no matter what he said, but he didn't expect the young master to lose as soon as he finished speaking. Uncle Qin, this Imperial Beast Peak is simply courting death. I've decided. I'll personally go up for the next match. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak gritted his teeth and said fiercely, as he looked at the group of people from Imperial Beast Peak in the distance. Peak Master of 10,000 Swords, what's going on? Isn't your young master absolutely confident that he can win? Right at this moment, Wu Long of the Whole Gale sect walked up and asked. There were also many people from other sects behind him. They couldn't understand why Wang Jian Peak could lose 2 rounds in a row. Everyone, please calm down. I don't know what kind of demonic technique this beast taming peak used, but don't worry. In the next round, our Peak Master will personally take action. That person from Beast Taming Peak will definitely not win. Uncle Qin looked at these people and quickly stood up. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc. Please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. Chapter 789. 10,000 Swords Going Out 1. Although the first round was a draw and Beast Trainer Peak won the second round, as long as the 10,000 Swords Peak won the last round, the result would definitely be the 10,000 Swords Peak Master, becoming the Sect Master of the Starry Sky Sect. Don't make any mistakes in this last round. This time, we're all here for your 10,000 Swords Peak. After Uncle Qin finished speaking, the cultivator beside him couldn't help but say, "Everyone, don't worry. Our Peak Master has the strength of a sacred sovereign. No matter what, he will be able to take the position of Sect Master." Uncle Qin looked at everyone and nodded. He didn't believe that their Peak Master couldn't deal with Beast Taming Peak. "Father, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak will personally fight in the next round." After Feng Linger learned of this news, she quickly ran to the side of the Beast Control Peak's Peak Master and said, "Since he wants to fight, how can our Imperial Beast Peak hold back?" The Peak Master of Imperial Beast Peak snorted coldly and said, "Then he'll go for the next round." "Master, but your body really can't take it." After hearing the words of the Peak Master of the Tamer Mountain, the White Beast immediately stood up and said, "One had to know that the Beast Taming Peak's Peak Master had always been in poor health. These days, he had been even more worried because of the grand competition. If the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak were to really compete with the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak, he might not be able to win. "Father, if it really doesn't work, let the two of us go," Feng Linger said worriedly. In the current situation, although the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak was not in good health, the Imperial Beast Peak still had the two of them. "You two kids, that Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak isn't as easy to deal with as you think." The Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak looked at the two of them and shook his head. Although he knew that the chances of him winning against the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak were not high, he could not bear to let the White Beast and Lorraine go up against the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak, because he did not know what kind of tricks this Wan Jian would use on the stage. The third match is about to begin. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak will personally go up. Who will your Imperial Beast Peak send? At this moment, the referee walked in front of the few people from the Imperial Beast Peak and said, "Humph. Referee, I know that I'm making things difficult for the Imperial Beast Peak this time. I can ask the Imperial Beast Peak to send two people to fight with me this time." At this moment, the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak walked up to the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak and said coldly, 10,000 swords. Don't go too far." Taoist Master Wanshou looked at the Peak Master of the Myriad Swords Peak who was walking over, and his expression darkened. This 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master was doing this on purpose, right? He knew that there was no one in their Imperial Beast Peak who could compete with him. Yet he was so brazen. "I told you, I will make you pay the price." The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak said coldly to the few of them, since they dared to hurt his son, he would definitely make sure that two people from the Imperial Beast Peak died this time, to vent the hatred in his heart. "Master, let us deal with this Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak," the White Beast couldn't help but say as he watched Wan Jian leave. After all, his master's body was no joke. "Father, both of our life-bound demons can now display the strength of a sacred sovereign. Let us deal with the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak." Looking at Taoist Master Wanshou, the two of them could not help but persuade him. "That's right. I think since Senior let our life-bound demonic beasts activate this skill, it means that Senior has already expected this situation. Therefore, Master, let us go this time." Looking at the Peak Master of the Imperial Beast Peak, the White Beast couldn't help but mention Xiao Changtian. "Zai, in that case, you must be careful." In the end, the Peak Master of Beast Taming Peak sighed and said, "Master, don't worry. In this competition, our Imperial Beast Peak will definitely not let this 10,000 Swords Peak succeed." The White Beast said heavily. At this moment, The sects below looked at the people from the two peaks and guessed. Hey, who do you think will win the next round? This Wanjian peak actually lost 2 rounds. TSK. I don't know what's going on with this Imperial Beast peak either. They're actually so powerful. But the next match is the Myriad Swords Peak's Peak Master personally leaving the arena. That's right. The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak had the strength of a sacred sovereign. No matter what, no one from the Imperial Beast Peak could deal with him. Although some sects were somewhat biased towards the Imperial Beast Peak at the moment, they still had relatively high expectations for the 10,000 Swords Peak, after knowing that the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak would personally take part in the battle. After all, the final match was the time to decide the winner. Alright, we've already competed twice today. Everyone take a break first. The third round will start tomorrow. At this moment, the sect master of Starry Sky Sect stood on the high platform and said to the crowd. The sect master of Starry Sky Sect looked at the sunset and turned to leave. Everyone was looking forward to tomorrow's match. At night, within the 10,000 Swords Peak. Wan Jian, what exactly is going on in this competition? How did Qin Shou and Goxiong Qin get defeated by the people from Imperial Beast Peak? The Peak Master of the Phoenix Perch Peak asked as he stood beside the Peak Master of the 10,000 Swords Peak. Didn't they all cultivate the cultivation techniques of experts? How could he be defeated by the people from the Imperial Beast Peak? Could it be that the expert is tricking us? Shouldn't you ask the holy maiden of your Phoenix Perching Peak, Feng Ling, or? At this moment, the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak said in a frustrated manner. Originally, he was confident in the 2 matches today, and even swore that their 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master would definitely win. In the end, such an outcome caught him off guard. He had also lost all his face. But how could Feng Linger lie to us? With her guts, she wouldn't dare to. Moreover, she's counting on us to avenge her. When the Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master heard the words of the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master, he immediately said, "Then tell me, since my son cultivated that cultivation technique, why was he beaten up like that by the people of the Imperial Beast Peak?" The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak said impatiently, "That Beast Peak must have used some unknown method to tempt the expert and get him to guide them." The Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak said after some thought, "How is that possible? The Imperial Beast Peak had nothing, so how could it tempt an expert? An expert was an old demon who had lived for God knows how long. What could the Imperial Beast Peak offer to tempt him?" The Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak said after hearing this speculation, "Let's not worry about that for now. I definitely won't let this Imperial Beast Peak off easily in tomorrow's competition." The Phoenix Nest Peak's Peak Master looked at the 10,000 Swords Peak's Peak Master and didn't say anything else, because she felt that the competition this time wasn't as simple as she had imagined. However, since she had already chosen the 10,000 Swords Peak from the beginning, there was no room for her to go back on her word. "Sect Master, you're here." Just as the Phoenix Nest Peak Master was about to leave, he suddenly saw a figure appear at the door. "Yes, I came to see Wan Jian." The Sect Master of Starry Sky Sect nodded at the Peak Master of Phoenix Nest Peak and walked to the side of the Peak Master of 10,000 Swords Peak. If you find any errors, ads pop up, ads redirect, broken links, non-standard content, etc., please let us know report so we can fix it as soon as possible. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.